What's going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo! DJ, this week, we're looking at a series of 4 games. Mostly 1 or 2, but definitely 2. Games that are very, very influential in terms of superhero games, because then after they came out, 2 series pretty much immediately tried to copy them and failed.
Yeah.
Which we might talk about a little bit, but yeah, we're doing, I guess, in our Dance to the Joker series, which this one has a fair amount of Joker dancing. Not necessarily like waltzing, but he's like sprightly and he's jumping about. We have our the Arkham like series, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Origins, and Arkham Knight. Which the more you say the word Arkham, the dumber it sounds. But before we do that, DJ, do you want to talk about our give some updates on our survivor pool for football?
Yes, so we have a well-attended survivor pool. We got like 45 people in it, which is great. And unfortunately, this week 4 people were eliminated. The Broncos and the Bucks unfortunately let some people down, and everyone else, so like 40 plus people, are doing fine. So some good news.
And I realized, is it? Oh, that's great. Is it? It's tiebreakers based on points scored, like by the team that wins. Is that right? Or point differential or something like that?
I don't know, actually. That's a good question.
Because I mean, you know, there's a not a great chance, but there's a good chance if someone wins and gets all the way that there may be a second team that does the same.
Yeah, I didn't even know how the tiebreaker works, but yeah, I guess we'll find out together.
Yeah. We've also got, well, DJ, let's talk about just how is football for you this week? Did you have a fun football week?
Yeah, I did. Actually, and I'm realizing now it must be because the Ravens have a 49, which is how much they beat the Dolphins by. So I guess, like, if you pick the Ravens in that game,
kind of assumed.
You are far ahead of everyone else. So good job to everyone who picked the Ravens.
Yeah, we did a terrific job.
All like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of you, including yourself, Nando.
I did.
So good job.
Yeah, well, you know, they're a perfect team, and they were playing a team of cardboard cutouts or something. I don't know. I didn't see the game, but seems like quite an easy dance to victory.
They were terrible. just a nightmare team. I
kind of did want to watch it, considering how much of a routing it turned out to be, but I just don't have that channel.
Right. I mean, no one should be watching Dolphins games under any circumstance, if I'm being totally honest, because they're awful and the worst, and I hate them, and yeah, screw them.
Yeah, we had you over yesterday to watch my New Orleans Saints, really just unequivocally crush the other guys, the Houston Texans, in a game that was a nightmare until it wasn't at the very end. So that was fun.
Yeah, that was certainly a good one. I have no dog in this race. It was a great game, but it certainly seemed like the refs just wanted to continue on the we hate the Saints deal. So
yeah,
that certainly was interesting.
Some weird ref decisions there.
Yeah, some very strange ones.
We beat the odds, and I think maybe that's what they told them in the locker room. Just if you're going to win this series and like this year in general, we're also going to have to be good enough to beat the refs every single time. So who knows? Maybe that'll be their mantra this year. But speaking of jokers, DJ, I want to talk about a little game. Yeah. So we're talking about 4 games, but basically we decided to go through all of the Joker-related media and try to kind of hit all of the important notes. So obviously all of the movies with the Joker in it. One of the animated movies that's kind of a movie that sums up the animated series in general. But then we figured we also had to do something with this, with the actual like video game Joker, which is a huge Joker as far as people are concerned. Like it's a very like I don't know what you not like influential, but just like I feel like this is what a lot of people think of when they think of a Joker, because it's 4 10+ hour games, and he's the main character of most of them.
Yeah, for sure. And it's the Hamill Joker, right? And we've talked about that. We think
mostly. He was replaced in 3 by Troy Baker, but yeah, it was, I mean, it's that Joker pretty much.
Yeah, and we've talked about how we think he's great, and he's just very fun to to hear, and I think the story is actually pretty compelling and enjoyable.
Yeah,
so
I think it does a good job of pretty cohesive video game story about this one character over the course of one movie one game, and then all 4 games together. It's like, yeah, that's kind of almost as much of a Joker series of 4 games as you can probably make without it getting... I mean, some people find him a little repetitive, and there's a couple times where it's like a bait and switch, where it's like, oh, is this game about Hugo Strange? Nope, it's a Joker game. There's a little bit of that, but besides that, if you're in for the Joker and you're like, I want to see Joker, I think you're pretty, gonna be pretty pleasantly surprised the entire series through.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, have you played all of these games, DJ?
Not Origins. I only played the Rocksteady games, Nando.
You hate Canada, Montreal. I understand. You like your American Batman.
They're the only ones I recognize.
How so they made those 3. But in the middle, yeah. So so for people that don't remember, there's 4 games. First one is Arkham Asylum.
Yep.
Very basic premise, very basic title.
Very basic gameplay also. It's also, so Rocksteady, the developer of this game, they had made a game prior, some random game called Urban Chaos Riot Response. But that was a first-person shooter. So this was their first, Batman game. And, it's a good game. It's and I haven't played Origins, but it's probably the weakest of the 4 in terms of gameplay. The story's, it's a kind of cookie cutter. It's like Joker gets captured on purpose to do a thing in Arkham Asylum, and then you have to fight all of the Batman enemies you would expect to find in Arkham Asylum. And I'm not trying to downplay it. It's really good, but just compared to the other games, it has some weak spots. Just being totally frank. Yeah.
I would say, I don't know. Well, so I've never played 4, which is Arkham Knight, but mostly
you haven't?
Because
okay.
No, I haven't. That's the one that a lot of people say it's it's fine. Don't it relies on this terrible mechanic that I guess I understand why people wanted it, and it's a Batmobile, it's part of Batman's whole business.
Yeah, the Batmobile's terrible. The Batmobile mechanic is a nightmare.
And yeah, the game every so often forces you to play this this slippery tank racing level, and yeah, that never kind of panned out from what I understand. But yeah, I played the other 3, and I feel like Arkham Asylum when it came out was a big deal just because it's everyone loved Batman, and I'd say it was pretty influential. There's some things about it that I think aren't obvious, that weren't obvious then, but are pretty obvious now. Kind of obviously there should be stealth missions, and
yes.
Obviously it should be kind of open worldy, which I guess that one wasn't nearly as much, but that kind of gameplay for a Batman game is fun because he can climb around and use his cape to glide and stuff, and he should have lots of gadgets. And did you ever play any of the older Batman games that were kind of in this vein? What was the one?
I couldn't even name one.
There were a few, and I played one. Let's see, because if you search Batman games, you get a lot of this.
There was probably an N64, or is that's a Superman game?
Yes, there was.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there was a Batman game on one of those consoles as well. So.
There was probably, do you remember in the 2000s, every single movie was turned into a video game?
I do remember that.
Every single one indiscriminately. That feels like a one of those. But yeah, I digress.
There's a game called Batman Return of the Joker, which I would imagine is based on the thing, yeah. I'm trying to find this one, because there was one that I remember playing. Batman Dark Tomorrow, here we go. So, what's this one? What Batman Vengeance? This is... Oh, maybe I played this one. So there were a couple that came out every couple of years. Batman Dark Tomorrow is about Ra's al Ghul. That one came out in 2003. No, 2003. It was an Xbox, GameCube generation. Same generation. Well, no, yes, this one was PS2. There was Batman Vengeance. Oh, no, yeah, this was same stuff. Batman, or PS2, GameCube, Xbox. And this came out in 2001. So, like, every couple of years there was a Batman movie, and this one I played, and it's not bad. It's closer to the cartoon, like that kind of Batman, like the animated series, whereas the Dark Tomorrow is kind of more of its own thing, and it's not very good. I remember Batman Vengeance being fun, but, like, none of them hold a candle to this one. But yeah, I also played those side-scrollery ones where it was like Batman, Batman in Forever, the game, and it's just like you're jumping around and you're punching and jump and punch and jump and punch, and they were pretty bad.
It's just the whole jump and punch, yeah.
And they like used the sprites of the actors themselves, which like if they looked stupid in the movie, they would look worse in the game. But specifically like guys like Robin and stuff in the two Schumacher movies, like he looked dumb. So that didn't translate well to sprites. I also, have you played any of the Lego Batman games?
No, I have not.
Okay, I think I played two. Lego
I
Batman
bet I'm missing
2.
something there. Like not even sarcastically. Like I bet those are great. I've heard like the Lego superhero games are actually like pretty good.
They are what they are. Like it's a pretty simple design of a game, and like it more or less works. It's a fun like thing to engage with as a Batman fan because it gets the characters right. They all have fun looks. I don't know if this is true of Lego Batman, like the original ones, but in the other, like more recent Lego games, you could just play the whole game as like whatever character you want, and you like just run around as like, I mean, you can't do that all the time, but you could play as the villains. There was a villain game, and then there's a Marvel one where you could just kind of play as literally every single thing you possibly could play as. You play as like a bystander. You could play the levels as like the Mandarin or whatever. The Batman ones were the first ones because those were the first sets to sell. Not like of Legos, but just they were the first licensed Lego sets besides Star Wars. So they made them like a ton of money. But the Batman games focused a lot on like, here's this like level and pick up like wear the magnet suit so you can climb this metal wall, and then it was, I don't know, it's a weird gameplay like just system. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Gets pretty repetitive, but the design of the game is fun.
Okay.
So yeah, that's Lego Batman. I want to say that's most of the Batman games besides these. I'm looking on the list right now.
These are the Batman games, right? Like even just like conceptually, like you think of like Batman video game. These are the ones you go to. I feel like because like the other thing too is these were all released in a period. So it was every other year. It was 2009, 2011, 2013, 2015. Just these 4 games came out. And
well, I do think there's one other series actually that we kind of I forgot, which is because it's so far down on the thing. The Telltale Batman games.
I never played the Telltale Batman game.
So I played the first one. It's fine. It's all QuickTime events, pretty much, and just choices. But I never got to a point where they mattered a lot. Their reimaginings of the characters were kind of fun. Specifically, the first game has a lot of Penguin, and he's like this anarchist who's also. It's a very different Penguin. And then later I know Joker was part of it as like Batman's helper or something, as like pre-Joker. I don't know how that went, but people liked that at the time. I think like similarly to the Lego games, that gameplay gets really repetitive. And if you're not incredibly invested, it's just like, well, what's the point? What am I doing?
Okay.
Character designs were fun, though. I liked the way that one looked better than any of the other Telltale games. I think The Walking Dead, you took a real thing, translated it to this, fantasy world that looked kind of dumb. Its cartooniness worked against it. Same with Game of Thrones. But then with Batman, it felt really stylized, like a comic book, which is what the original medium for the character was. So I think, design-wise, I think that worked really well. But yeah, I mean, gameplay-wise, it's fine. But yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay, what else? So like I said, there's 4 of them. Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Origins, Arkham Knight. So we'll go through them one by one, I guess. Spoilers for each game as they come up.
Yeah.
Because there's not... Each game, I'd say, maybe not one, but 2, 3, and 4 all have one spoiler in them that's like the spoiler of the game.
Yeah.
I would say 2 and 2 is the only one that I think is an actually fun spoiler. Like, if you haven't played Arkham City, it's a really good game. Probably worth playing it and then learning that, like, twist and whatever on your own. 3 is fine, but it comes pretty early in the game, so it doesn't blow your mind. 4 is, if you've ever played a Batman game before or read a Batman comic or anything, you're probably going to see it coming from a mile away. So, I wouldn't be too worried about, getting, having never played 4. Yeah, City is the only one that I think is really, it's like that big of a deal.
And it's pretty unique, too, to like all of the proceedings.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really, I don't know, is it based on any other comic thing? Because like Arkham Knight, it's like very much a comic thing. But yeah, the other ones, it's like pretty novel. So
yeah, I haven't seen it. I've never seen that happen before. I mean, there's certain things, without getting into it, what happens, like that, some version of that's happened in the past, but the way it's executed specifically with the characters that are used in Batman, I haven't seen. And that's why I think Arkham City isn't my favorite. I really do like Arkham Origins the most, but I think Arkham City, just as like a movie and an experience, is really, really good. And just, it's super, super fun. So we're going to go through them one by one. We'll start with Arkham Asylum, and then we'll,
work our way.
Kind of give them each an even amount of space, except for Arkham Knight, which is bad and the story is boring. But
and there's no like Joker feature, so it's like, why bother?
He's just like a guy who you have like Joker dreams every so often or whatever, right? I honestly kind of only barely understand what happens in that game. But he's barely in it. Whereas the other ones, he's a pretty big player. All right, so Origins. What's the story of Origins, DJ? Wait, sorry, no.
Wait, I was what?
I want to say Origins, because obviously that's the first one, right? But it's not. So Asylum, what's the story of Batman Arkham Asylum?
So, in a nutshell, the Joker decides to get captured. Whoa, who would have thought?
It's too easy.
It's too easy.
He basically just he knocked over a stack of gumballs and he had a sign on his neck that said, "Bring me to Arkham Asylum and put me in this jail cell, please, signed the Joker."
And the funny thing is that Batman is suspicious of these proceedings, so he which is kind of, I guess, not normal. He escorts the Joker to Arkham Asylum, because I guess he wouldn't normally. Yeah. He's like, I don't know, something's going on. So he goes with Joker to Asylum. So something, Joker gets to the asylum, something. Harley hacks into the security system. It does whatever video game magic needs to happen to...
Wait, the security system of the asylum?
Yeah, right? Isn't that how that works?
But the Joker's there. That's not good. What happens if... Oh, no. Wait a second. I thought this was just a normal gumball robbery gone normal, but this actually might be some sort of plot.
Yes.
By the Joker. World's greatest detective, huh, Batman?
Yeah, couldn't you figure this out?
No.
So something. Harley takes over the security system. Something. Joker breaks into the asylum, more or less, and all of Batman's baddies are just out loose in the asylum. And the hook is, so there's this new thing called Titan, which is better than Venom, which can get Bane to super, not just Bane, but anyone can get super strong and crazy and whatever. And the Joker has rigged Titan all throughout Gotham, and if anyone tries to interfere, he blows it all up, so Batman is by himself. No one to help Batman.
Yep.
And then you go through and you beat up all of Batman's villains, and then yada yada yada. You eventually fight a tightened up Joker, and you beat him.
That's
and you
right.
Win. Without getting into all of the exact details, that's more or less the game. I'm reading the plot now. I don't remember exactly how the Joker rigged Titan everywhere, but I'm sorry, it's not Titan around Gotham. They're just bombs. They're just regular bombs. My mistake.
That would be funny if he's like, I've rigged the whole city so that if something goes wrong, everyone's going to turn into the Hulk and just punch each other. The city's going to go nuts. It's going to be awesome.
Why is the
You're
Joker...
gonna miss it, Batman.
Why does Joker always just have the ability to bomb all of Gotham? It seems just way too easy. He always can, no matter what.
It really is in this America of 2019. Not a huge fan of a gigantic surveillance apparatus or whatever. But I get it if every couple of days there was some sort of ridiculous, scheme concocted by the Joker or Penguin or whatever. Like, the Gotham City just really appreciates civil rights to a degree that I would never expect in the real world. Like, well, what are we going to do? Put a camera on every street corner? No, we got to just see what he does. And hopefully Batman can, do all the bombs good. Because, spoiler alert, something like that happens in another one of these games. Something very similar. Which Batman villains do we run into in Arkham Asylum?
All right, you got Killer Croc. You got
fun level.
You got Poison Ivy.
That's probably my least favorite level, but it's still pretty good.
It's fair. You got Scarecrow. I think that's a cool level.
Very cool level. That's the one that everyone kind of came out of the game like, wow, you'll never believe the Scarecrow level. And like,
this is amazing, yeah.
A very certain recent movie about a Night Monkey-esque, non-Marvel connected anymore superhero has a bit in it that's very similar to that Scarecrow scene. And every single review I read, like, that had any knowledge of this, like one from like an IO9 or whatever, like a nerdy website, all compared him to the Scarecrow scenes from Arkham Asylum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the sense I got pretty quickly too. It's like, oh, yep, hallucination dream thingy. This is what we're doing. Walking through this room turns into this room. Although I played another game. I guess there's another Spider-Man game that came out recently. Like the PS4 Spider-Man game has a bit very similar to that too. Video games just love shit like this.
Oh, I guess so, yeah. With exactly who you think it would be. Mysterio.
Wait. You know what I'm talking about, though, in the game. The PS4 game.
Oh, God. I'm blanking.
All right, we'll talk about it off air. So his is like, he gives you... And this is also, like... So Kevin Conroy's in here. I don't know about all the rest of the voices besides Mark Hamill, but it seems like at least some of the... Like, I think the Two-Face for sure is the first Two-Face. Or if it's not, if it's like from the cartoons. If it's not, it's a guy impersonating that actor. So like, it definitely has the feel of the animated series.
Yeah, it's like what they were going for, right?
But all the character designs are pretty different, except for the Joker, who's exactly the same. And
that's in Hamill's contract. Whenever he plays whenever he does anything for the Joker, he has to like be that.
It looks great. I love the look of him, but I also love the look of almost all of the redesigned characters here. Like Scarecrow specifically has like in the dream sequence, he's got like hands that are like hypodermic needle, like syringes.
It's so like trippy, yeah.
A gas mask, I feel like, for a face. I can't remember because they changed game to game a little bit, but I'm pretty sure that's what he looks like in that one. Yeah, he's super cool. Okay, so you got Scarecrow, you got Poison Ivy,
you got Croc.
I want to say there's a Bane, not as much fight, but like run away from.
Yeah, because Bane's too big or whatever.
And he's like a normal guy. Like, I would say this game, more than the other ones, really tries to skew towards horror, where the other ones are really superhero games. And his is like, I remember his scene being like, Batman, I've gone insane with venom. Run from me. I'm a monster. Like, and then you just have to run away, which is kind of what the Killer Croc fight is, except that one's more... atmosphere is more important to that one, which is fun. Like,
yeah, for sure.
I think it's hard to say. I mean, this game might have the best individual boss levels, just like pound for pound. I'm trying to think of the other ones, but I think this one really utilizes everybody pretty well.
I agree with that. Yeah.
We'll see how they hold up over the course of the rest of this episode, but just looking at, okay, so yeah, the Killer Croc one's awesome. Bane one's pretty good. Scarecrow one's great. Poison Ivy is fine, but it's like, you're in a room full of giant plants. The Joker ones are okay. I would say the Joker one at the end is probably the weakest part of this game.
Yeah, it's just fighting a big Joker.
Yeah, and like goons, which is, sure.
Yeah, it's super weak.
I want to say there was somebody else in here. I guess at one point, do you remember Joker has kidnapped another villain, kind of? He has him, because Joker also, like in all of these games, Joker takes control of all the TVs and sends you message via TV, like cutscenes you watch.
Hello, Batman.
Yeah.
This is your friendly neighborhood Joker. I don't know why I did that. I get it.
He's crossing over into the Marvel universe. He doesn't even care about copyright law. He's truly mad. Do you remember the villain cameo that comes in one of those? This one's only in Arkham Asylum, in one of those bits. It's pretty fun.
I do not.
So at one point, Joker is doing and it's been years since I played. I don't think I played this game or even like watched bits of it since first run, but I kind of remember this. Because I watched the other ones to kind of get up to speed. But he's doing a TV announcement. He has the ventriloquist dummy from like the evil gangster ventriloquist as like a prop, I guess. Although it seems like, I think his name is Wesker or whatever. It seems like the story with the ventriloquist dummy is just this guy has split personalities, but there's always this like nagging question, like, is this dummy possessed or something? Like, what's really going on here? And the answer is it's not. It's just a dummy the Joker can play with if he wants. Or maybe he's just even too good to even get possessed. But yeah, what'd you think of the combat? Because this was new. This whole, like, tap, 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 dodge, tap, 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 dodge. Do you like that? Is interesting.
Yeah, I think for the time, it's kind of fairly incredible.
Yeah.
If you think about it, just because... Like, yeah, there were button mashers and beat-em-ups. I don't know if, like, the Batman part specifically made it so novel, but there was something about the fighting and gameplay. I just remember being like, whoa, this, like, feels really good. Now, I just want to say something about all these games. There's the very stereotypical thing, I think in, like, a lot of superhero games, or at least, like, named copyright games. I don't know what'll happen with that Avengers game, but definitely happened with Spider-Man and to the Batman games, where you get this, it feels like you're Batman. It feels like you're Spider-Man. And I'll admit, I'm pretty sure I wrecked the recent Spider-Man game on this pod at one point. It was like, it feels like you're Spider-Man. No, it doesn't. It feels like you're playing a video game. It's fun as hell, but you don't feel like Batman or Spider-Man. To be fair, I haven't played the Batman VR game. Maybe that one does make you feel like Batman. But, like, these don't. I'm sure going back and playing the 09 one, Asylum, I'd feel like, oh, this is clunky. But at the time, it's like, oh, the blocking combos and hitting and different gadgets. I'm like, oh, this is so fucking cool and awesome. And it definitely worked because they were able to make, well, they made 2 more, but like 3 more were made by Warner Brothers. That it was just like, this is a genre that'll work. Like a beat 'em up with a superhero. Oh, also there's like detective bits where you could sneak and stealth and kill people in kind of unique ways. And hey, there's all these gadgets. I think just that formula really worked and made the game very enjoyable. Like, I remember really, really liking this game.
Yeah. I would say, like, out of all of them, Arkham Asylum, when you look at it, seems quaint. Because the other ones are like this big, giant, open world, 50 villains, blah, ha, ha. Whereas this one is like 6 guys, and they're all around. Also, I looked it up. The other one, not we forgot, but that exists in this universe, is Zaz. Zaz is like your first real quick boss that just teaches you how to, like, I remember
dodge knives.
No, it's his. He's the like tutorial where it's like Batman is like walking down a hallway and Zaz has kidnapped someone, like one of the guards or whatever, and Batman's like, "Let her go, Zaz," and Zaz is like, "No," and then Batman like leaves and Zaz is like, I got him. But really, what you're doing is like going in a vent above him or something. You just drop down and kill him. It's pretty good.
You think Zaz would, like, learn, right? Like, that's a little dumb to think that.
I know.
Oh, I fucking got that. Like, no, you didn't, you idiot.
It's
what
like,
are you talking about?
I hope the new Batman movie that Matt Reeves is doing with Robert Pattinson is similar to this in terms of just like Batman shows up and all his goons are already in jail or they exist and he knows all their names and it's a thing. And we're not going to spend every single movie inventing a new goon, and by the end of 5 movies there are 5 goons and 3 of them are dead or something. But like, I want him to just go to Arkham Asylum and like flip through some pamphlets and be like, okay, Joker, Riddler, this guy, okay, cool. Because you do really like drop into this world and fight these Jokers, not like nonchalantly, but the movie or this game treats your knowledge of Batman, like previous knowledge of Batman, as a really like not like necessary thing, but definitely helpful thing. Like, it rewards you for knowing who Batman is, which is cool. I think we had talked about this before. Your favorite non-Joker Batman villain is who?
Have we talked about this before?
Well, I mean, we did our Batman, second best Batman villain bracket back on Mad Bracket status, and I feel like I think you had said at some point that your favorite was the Riddler.
I do love me some Riddler. No, I do love me the Riddler. It's between him and Two-Face. The reason I say that is because when we did our Batman bracket, we talked about how much we fucking love Two-Face. Like, that came up a lot.
Two-Face is great.
So,
and
But I love the Riddler. You know why? Because he was so good in the animated series, and that's like where my formative Batman, like all that stuff comes from.
And he's fun in the movie. I like Jim Carrey in the 95, like Batman Forever. I think he was great. The reason I bring him up and Two-Face, because he's like we were talking about, he's my favorite. I would say out of all the major Batman villains, those are the two that get the most shortchanged in these games, which is strange.
It's unfortunate. The Riddler, they reduced to you having to collect fucking trophies if you even want to kind of fight him. And in one of the games, I think they're all like races or something like that.
It's
right. Actually kind of nuts. Like, the classic Riddler thing of racing. He loves that. I'm going to build
an underground racetracks and shit, where it's like not like a race, like it's like, I've made 5 cars and they're all remote controlled. Go catch them. It's like, I've developed what is essentially an underground subway system roller coaster thingy where you'll need to drift upside down. And if you do it in an like arbitrary time, I'll decide you're the best. I think at the end you maybe get to fight him. I never got that. Like I obviously didn't play it, but I also
did not have the discipline.
Didn't watch that much. I think in that game the like the way it sets up is like he has kidnapped Catwoman, and if you want Catwoman back, you gotta beat all his races.
Stupid.
Yeah, it's so dumb. It always bugged me that he had to, not like bugged me, but it was just like, well, that's a weird little thing, like a weird mechanic and just like decision, because he is a fun villain, and I like the Riddler a lot, and I think there's a lot you could do, and they do this like in the very, very end, because you do fight him, and there are like not like drones necessarily. He has like a big old robot suit, but there are like puzzles you solve. But to get the Riddler trophies, the puzzles usually like see if you can find it. Yeah. Like it's on a rooftop you wouldn't normally be at, so hopefully you go there and then you can find it. But in this, like, if you watch some of the parts of Arkham Knight that are actual Riddler, like the Riddler level once you've beaten all the mazes, I guess, it is something that I feel like should have probably been either a necessary part of one of these games, or even maybe like its own game not like its own game, but like its own like, you know what I mean? Like he could have been the villain in a game that's just like a big part of the game.
Oh yeah, like he could have done like the big thing. Because right, in all these games, well, so in Asylum, Joker does the big thing. In City, Hugo Strange does the big thing.
Like, sure, he does. Trailer for the game, but right, he does. He's like he's in charge, and I mean he does set up like what will be like you need him to have the game happen, right? Like, right. He sets the plot in motion. Yeah. And then in Origins, it's Black Mask, and in Night, it's Scarecrow, I want to say. Scarecrow, some sort of fear of something.
Yeah, but then it's also Night, right? Like the Arkham Knight.
And then Arkham Knight,
which is stupid and for like a lot of reasons and whatever.
But yeah, in Arkham, but yeah, Riddler, I would say, gets really, I don't know. I just feel like he should have been way cooler, and that he's not. Although what I'm watching this fight now, just like a second of it, it seems like it'd probably be pretty fun if he was a main character. Other one, Two-Face. Two-Face is mostly, he has a bit in Arkham Knight, I believe, as well, but not super important. And then he shows up in Arkham City as like your tutorial level.
Yes.
So I think that's kind of, I think if we're talking about the two biggest casualties of these games mostly being about the Joker, I would say it's those two guys. Just kind of a bummer.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay, what do you think of, so like this quick time fighty system thing? This, like we were saying, this will kind of be, they made a Captain America branded game that's actually not too bad that used pretty much exactly this, which was like punch, punch, lines over your head, dodge, punch, punch, punch. And then they did a similar thing with the Amazing Spider-Man games, which was the first time that showed up there. And it felt very like punch, punch, dodge, punch, punch, punch. I think the reason this game's worked a little bit better, especially later in the game, is they did incorporate enough like weapons and like gadgets and stuff that you got the sense that you could kind of play the game whatever way you wanted, where you didn't just have to punch all the guys as best, quickly and most effectively. You could like punch a bunch of guys, jump up, set a trap, wait for the trap to get, and then like go get the other ones. Like this whole stealth system thing was pretty influential, or not, well, influential, but that's just pretty, like, revolutionary. And it's a big part of this game.
Yeah, so do you mean like the stealth elements, like specifically in this game, or like stealth in general? Like, could you?
Oh,
expound?
stealth. Just I'm talking like, so I haven't played all the games that exist, but this idea of like, okay, so you're in a room. There's 15 goons. You can kill them, or you can swing around on the 10 gargoyles that are on the top of this building and like set traps to catch them all. And I only say it's necessarily influential because then all the Spider-Man games became that, including the PS4 one most recently, where there are
verbatim.
like just stealth missions. And I think there's some parts of these games. I know there's one of there's a level in Origins that is just like, there's a guy, and if he sees you, he shoots you. So you have to take out each goon one by one, and his gun has a big giant laser on it, because why the hell not? So don't get involved with the laser. And like, that really plain old stealth mechanic. But there's other levels where it's like, there's 10 goons in here. Punch them all or do the stealth mission. You'll get a couple extra points for the stealth part, but you can just punch them if you want.
Right. Yeah, I mean, those specific things, for sure. Because I'm thinking, like, well, I've played Thief, and, like, that's, like, all stealth because of the nature of the game. You could even say Dishonored at some point. You could do that all stealthy, but that's, like, its whole other deal. But, yeah, I think, like, this is pretty unique. Because, again, I think a lot of the superhero aspects are fairly novel. Because I think, like, prior to that, is there, like, a Captain America, like, the first Avenger? Like, is there a game based off that? Because I think it was released at a time.
They made it after this, and it's pretty much a clone of this.
Okay, yeah. Like, that makes sense.
The combat's exactly the same. Except you have the shield, but, like, you have batarangs, and they work the same way, where, like, if you use them, you kind of target a goon, and then they'll hit them, and then it's part of a combo or whatever.
Right.
There's a little bit more, like, Captain America can't fly, so there's a lot of, like, swinging on stuff. Like, you're trying to get up a building, but instead of, like, just grappling up, there's, like, 15 poles sticking out of the, like almost like 15 flagpoles, and you just have to from flagpole to flagpole to flagpole, like you're some sort of gymnast.
So
yeah, not as good. I would say, okay, so the other mechanic this game introduced that I liked a lot is it. I think it's fun. It's a really hard thing to get right, and it's as like a way to like kind of visualize or like think through what a Batman's powers is, like detective vision and detective mode. Because I think I give this game credit, and Arkham City and the other ones will use this a little bit more, but I think Asylum did it a couple times, of being like, this can't just be Batman punching. He's supposed to be a detective. Let's try as hard as we can to make detective missions that aren't really that hard, but at least force you to like take a breath and go like, okay, so I gotta get this guy. Where his footprints go? Okay, into this door. Oh, now I get to fight him. Like that was pretty new too.
Yeah, the one thing with detective vision is that is the thing I think, and again, I don't know, I can't do the history of video games, but that one I swear felt like this was not really done beforehand, and then it was done fucking everywhere.
Yeah,
just an insane proliferation.
I mean, like, in the Spider-Man PS4 game, Mary Jane has detective vision pretty much.
God.
She can, like, see backwards in time the same way that Batman can here, except it's because Batman has the greatest brain in the world, plus a bunch of technology. There's a lot of it where it's like, there's a scene in Night, or in Origins, I can't remember if something like this happens in the other ones. Oh, yeah, for sure. This happens all the time, where Batman goes into a room and he's like, Alfred, this chair has been kicked over and this window's broken. I'm going to turn on some machine that's going to put little wireframes of all the people that were here based on the bullets and, like, pretty much watch the whole crime happen in real time, rewinding it with no information besides footprints and a couple of, like, spilled blood splatters.
It's almost like the freaking, not to the same extent, but just the idea of, we talked last week, the bullet in Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Like, in the thing, it's like, it's ridiculous. And I don't know that all that was necessary. Like, the problem with the video game is, like, it can't make you think certain ways.
Yeah.
So to actually do detective work, like, did you ever play L.A. Noire?
I watched people play it. I heard it was all over the place.
It's like, it tries to do a thing of, like, detective work, but I think it fails kind of miserably. Because, like, I don't know, it's not worth getting into the weeds over. But, like, it is so, I think it's hard, because, who did that game? Rockstar tried their fucking best to make a game that's like, oh, it's the freaking, you're a detective, and it just doesn't really work out.
Well, you have to do you like watch people's faces, right, and determine whether they're lying or telling the truth. And if they're telling the truth, they have like what is a normal facial animation. And if they're lying, like their eyes are wide open the whole time and they don't blink. So like, yeah, that wouldn't be fun here. Also, all the villains did it every single step of the way. They're all bad the whole time.
And I'll get off this, but the other thing is there's like no consequences. Like you could do your detective questioning 100% wrong, and like it doesn't matter. Like you still get to the same fucking, because you can't have the game right. It's Steve did the murder, and Steve's just like a guy who's like, I didn't do the murder, and it's like we locked up Steve. Game over.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Steve's attorney is definitely gonna sue the department, and you're fired. You're put on 2 weeks of administrative leave, so you can't play the game for 2 weeks. I'd say this game, So Arkham City or Arkham Asylum, it's a good game, very good game.
Yes,
not the greatest of these games, but I'd say probably like, takes a lot of hits or takes a lot of shots. Most of them hit. I would say the only miss is. No, I don't think the fight at the end is all that great, but otherwise, I think it's like a pretty solid game. Mm-hmm. And I think the Joker in it is pretty good. It's like we're saying, he's not as big of a part of the game. You don't fight him a lot. You just kind of hear from him a lot, and then like all of the stuff that's happening is his business. Like it's his because of him, but he's not. He's a big part of the game, but he'll become a bigger part of later games. Yeah,
you could argue that the way Joker's done in this game, it makes a lot of sense because, right, shouldn't it be the case that Joker's like the terrible, menacing villain just in the background pulling the strings, and it's like, this is his whole thing? Because it's hard to just like fight the Joker straight up.
Without a doubt. Yeah, and I think it's boring. In a world, if I was Rocksteady and they came to me and they were like, hey, we want you to make a Batman game, it's got to have the Joker in it. I think my first question would be like, well, who else can I use? And then it'd be like, whoever you want. And I'd be like, okay, well, he's making them do something he wants them to do. And we're going to make that game 4 times. But just different villains and different settings, and it's going to be pretty good. Because that's like, it's a good way to keep things not repetitive. And the boss fights are what a lot of people remember from these games. So, like, get a diverse group of characters. And speaking of characters, even though they weren't all in the game, this game did do a lot of work to allude to the other characters that were there. So, like, you would walk by a prison cell that would be icy or whatever. And, like, other characters, you would walk by their cells and be like, I guess he escaped, and he escaped, and he escaped, and they're all escaped now. Damn it, Joker, you're such a jerk.
Freaking Joker.
God damn it, Joker. Don't let them all escape. That's bad. You want to keep all the criminals in jail. This is why this guy sees things differently. He sees a jail, and it's all different to him. I think that's kind of everything from 1. I know we talked a lot about this one, but it's because you have to explain all the base mechanics that influence the future games. Yeah. The rest of them are all stories and characters. Out of all the characters, whose like design did you like best? Because so King Shark or Killer Croc, big giant muscle guy wearing pants and like crocodile, very crocodile-y, way more than in the movies, and he's like 8 feet tall. Poison Ivy, she's got like long hair, like that's like all planty. She's green skin. She's not wearing pants, but she has like a flower bikini bottom, and then like a prison shirt on over that.
She reminded me of the fairy from Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Like just the generic fairies who were like wrapped all in like vines.
Yeah.
I was like, this is pretty much what they're going for. Which, like, is it the only interpretation of Poison Ivy you could possibly do? Like, is that it?
Yeah, I think it's more fun if she is like some sort of like almost like supernatural, like, like fairy is a good way to describe it, or like nymph, like connected with nature. She has her bit in this game, I'd say, is not like, I like her fight. It's preposterous the way it's set up, because like Joker frees all the villains, right? And Arkham is this big, giant, vast. It's not just like a building. It's like a whole campus with like, a psychiatry building and the jail part, and then like super jail or whatever. There's a bit, maybe 2/3 of the way through the game, where you've beaten Bane, you've beaten Killer Croc, some other stuff. And Batman's like, I forget why, but you have to go get something. And Batman's like, asks Alfred, because also you're on the phone with Alfred, and sometimes Alfred like drops you things if it's convenient. It's like, Alfred, where's the thing I need to get? And Alfred's like, it's in the greenhouse, the Arkham greenhouse, and you'll never guess who's taken over the greenhouse. And like, shit, man,
Calendar
you guys
man.
didn't destroy the greenhouse the minute she got in here. Like, that's it. You're insane, you guys. You're almost as crazy as the Joker, who wants the criminals to be out of jail. You could just not have a greenhouse. Most jails probably don't, but this one does.
Maybe it's like that weird thing from Suicide Squad where they all got to make a request for doing their own little thing.
Yeah,
So.
she did a Suicide Squad mission, and hers was, and they were like, you can just have a big greenhouse where if the Joker breaks everybody out of jail, you just run wild. You won't live there, but you could go nuts. Harley also has an interesting design in this. She's got and she comes up as a mini boss here too. I don't even know how you describe her, but she's not wearing the classic Harley jumpsuit onesie thing. She's got a dress, and it's very mature. The direction, especially talking about the Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn, the way they're designed. I wouldn't say it's super exploitative. It's tough because those two characters, Poison Ivy's supposed to be very seductive, and that's her whole deal. She kisses you and you die, so of course she's gonna be the sexiest one. That's what they're kind of going for. Harley, I'd say they maybe almost went a little bit overboard, but now that's just what that character looks like in everything, so what are you gonna do?
It was a choice, right?
Yeah, it was, and it's fine. Whatever Joker, Joker has, he got to wear his classic outfit, and hers would have looked dumb, to be fair. You couldn't just give her the onesie, so I think it makes sense the way they redesigned her. All right, let's get to the ones that, while better, have preposterous stories. Starting with this one. Arkham City.
Woohoo!
Not necessarily my favorite. I really like it, but we'll talk about Origins, but, one of the best, games that came out that year. Just a really, really terrific game. And it's clearly just there going well, we want to make this open world, but why on earth would it be? There's no good reason. But what if maybe? And can you explain the story behind this?
I will give it my fucking best. Okay.
And go into, so spoilers for this one, because it will turn out that there's some ulterior motive behind what what's his name is doing. But yeah, do you remember what that is?
Ulterior motive to what who's doing.
So anyway, you describe what's going on, and if you missed the ulterior motive thing, we'll get to it. But.
Okay, so Arkham City is basically it's like a big prison, but the prison is Gotham, right? That's basically the idea. And it's
I want to say they decided the south side of Gotham is just unlivable, so we'll just wall it off and let all the criminals do whatever the hell they want, and hopefully that works.
Which is baddie. It is no, it's not okay.
Insane. And what I was gonna say was, I believe we'll learn at the end that this is Hugo Strange has teamed up with Ra's al Ghul in an effort to, and this is Hugo Strange just wanted to do this, because he knew Batman would get involved, and Ra's wanted to kill all the criminals, so that's why he let this happen.
Right.
But yeah, as far as this was sold to Mayor, Sharp or whatever, whoever's the mayor, that's just what he thought this was just this might be a good idea if we put them all in this, it's guarded and there's surveillance, but it's a city, so they have all of them have gangs, and there's a courthouse that Two-Face takes over, there's a bar that the Penguin has, it's pretty insane what these villains were able to do, and it's fine.
While technically in jail, but also none of them are acting like they're in jail. You don't get the sense oh, people are in jail. That's not
they're
exactly...
not in jail. You could, if you put, so this is even worse than white collar jail, where it's just oh man, you get to, do whatever you want, and you play tennis every day. This is no, this is an actual city. Although what do they get? What do they have food wise? Where's the food come from? Is there a farm?
Is it just Penguin's got a lot of fish, because that's a whole penguin thing.
That's true, and a shark.
Yeah, these are just all things he's allowed to have. Just
yeah,
because it's so stupid. Mr. Freeze takes over an ice whatever.
Yeah, he's got. At one point it's I need to get something from Mr. Freeze, and it's well, Freeze has to live somewhere where it's really, really cold. So what's the coldest place? And it's like an ice cream factory or some shit, right? Like it's like it's just. But I mean, like I don't mind it. I like it a lot.
Oh yeah, the game's great. The premise is just insane. Like basically illegal. None of this makes sense.
What? Okay, so and all of the trailers were that. It was like what's his name? Hugo Strange, who, if people don't remember, is like usually some sort of psychiatrist, sometimes a warden at Arkham, who is obsessed with Batman, and he's more or less a bad guy. Although he doesn't like team up with bad guys usually, but he'll be like, yeah, I run a crappy prison, Batman. What are you going to do? Come get me? Oh, no. And he also is the only character. That's not true, but I think he's the first character to just figure out who Batman is by common sense.
Yeah,
I
just
think
like
that's his claim to
piecing
fame.
shit together.
Yeah, his endless resources, and that he's about the same height as Bruce Wayne. He's Bruce Wayne.
Like the guy in Dark Knight, who's like,
That's
I know
right,
who Batman
yeah.
is.
And then, except this guy has all of the, he also has all of the resources of God, so he is able to build a giant weird prison city to mess with Batman instead of just, like, try to blackmail him and then get almost murdered.
So they make this thing, right? And Bruce Wayne has a press conference where he publicly opposes it.
Yeah, it's a bad idea. There got to be one of these every 5 minutes by every, like, influential person. Because what's the worst that can happen? All these criminals band together and, like, scale the... They have cars. Like, they can do whatever they want in here. There's no oversight whatsoever.
So he has his press conference, and Nando, you wouldn't believe it, but Bruce Wayne gets arrested by mercenaries.
That's right. He's, like, kidnapped.
Because, what? Because that's allowed. You could just... Can you imagine if just a bunch of Black Op mercenaries by, like, Blackwater, whatever one of those contractors are, just, like, kidnapped Jeff Bezos? Like, can you imagine what would happen? And they just do this to Bruce Wayne with more or less no consequences. It's fucking insane.
And it's really convenient, considering what everybody wants independently of everybody else. Like, it's part of what's-his-name's plan. Like, it's part of Strange's plan, right? Like, he wants, but, like, and we'll learn this movie, or this game is about the Joker, because they're all about the Joker. So, this is really what Joker needed more than anybody else. He needed the guy who turns out to be Batman in the city, and the only reason he's there is because of this. Although I guess you could say maybe he'd figure something else out, but it still seemed pretty, like, it was very, very convenient for the Joker. But yeah, and I remember all of the promos were like, it was like the villains and like, Two-Face doing stuff and then Penguin doing stuff. But that was mostly just like, look at all these fun villains you'll see. But really it was like, finally, Hugo Strange, Batman, you've met your match. It's me, Hugo Strange, and I'm the villain of this game. And then you start playing the game and it's not really Hugo Strange at all, and he's barely in it until the very end when he does nothing. It's about the Joker because they're all about the Joker, which is fine because it's better, I'm sure. I could even see a world where they were like, we'll make a Hugo Strange game, and they just hit a wall at a certain point and went, can this be a Joker game? I have like 10 Joker screenplays in my desk right now that we could turn to a game. And then they picked a good one.
Yeah. It's definitely insane how much Hugo Strange isn't a part of this game. Except for the whole, like, I guess framing it like, the game wants you to think he's a big deal because much like Arkham Asylum in Arkham City, just Hugo Strange gets over the PA and makes some like weird announcement. That's like his whole thing during the whole game. He
has Protocol 10, which he believes is some sort of, or like, we don't know what it is, but it has something to do with Batman's identity. Like, he's like, I know who you are, Batman, and I'm going to do Protocol 10. So I think he's like, come to me or whatever. And Batman's trying to figure out what this is for like a half a second before the rest of the game kind of kicks into gear. And then Batman's trying to solve the other problem, which would you like to describe the way that happens?
Yeah, so
or
the
just
game has
what the other plot is.
Yeah, so the game has several parts, right? So Bruce Wayne gets kidnapped, and what's insane is you start fighting people as Bruce Wayne, but in the same Batman style where you're just, like, kicking ass. Like, if anyone saw this, they'd be like, oh my god, Bruce Wayne is Batman. Like, confirmed, Bruce Wayne is 100% Batman. Because all of the guys in Arkham City have gotten beaten up by Batman. So they take one look at Bruce Wayne kicking ass, and they're like, oh, that's how Batman beat me up. Bruce Wayne's Batman.
Well, but he does a little bit of that. But I guess I was going for more like what's the actual A plot of this game?
Yeah,
like
so
what is Batman's actual goal?
So Batman has to. So the Joker is sick from the Titan formula, so he's like dying, and then the Joker performs a blood transfusion. So now Batman also has the Titan disease, and he's gonna die. So
right, and the Joker has shipped tainted blood to all the hospitals.
Yep.
So he's like, "Hey,
else
Batman,
will get Titan diseased
unless a cure is found." Which I believe, as far as this Joker knows, Mr. Freeze just has. Right, like it's like go get it from him, and when you do that, it doesn't work because it's gone. But yeah, this Joker is like pretty much dead. He's like coughing a lot.
And he looks all fucked
all
up. Yeah, his skin's all peeling off and shit, and it's bad, man. That Titan. Ooh.
I know. Bane did a great job with it. Although maybe that's where he wears this goofy little wrestler mask, because his face is a mess. But yeah, he seems to have taken the whole Titan thing way better than Joker did. Although I guess Bane just takes Venom, but I assume they were relatively similar. So then you fight a bunch of bosses, pretty much. I don't even remember. Penguin's in there somewhere. I'm sure you have to get some information about something, and you have to go to the Iceberg Lounge, which is pretty great. But okay, let's go through in our head the villains from this game, because there's a bunch of them, except
there's
for
so
obviously
many.
The big spoiler one at the very end.
Well, because there's your main cast of villains that you have to fight to get the plot along, but then also you have your side villains who you can do side missions to take care of. Like, it goes down to, like, Calendar Man and, like, the Mad Hatter are guys you can face off against. It's insane.
I think there's a Deadshot side mission in here, too, and I believe there's a Man-Bat, like, Easter egg?
A hunt.
Yeah. Oh, and there's
Azazel, is he in this one? Or is that Knight?
He's the last one. Who's doing bombs? There's somebody who's doing bombs in the city, and they call you.
Oh, someone is doing bombs.
Is that Zaz? That might be Zaz.
It might be Zaz, yeah.
But yeah, there's a ton of them. But then, okay, like A-plot villains. And I think Mad Hatter is one, because you have to, like, do his story.
Oh, is
I feel
he?
like at some point
it
the
is,
game
you're
was like, this is the Mad Hatter start now.
Which is crazy that he's an A-plot guy.
Yeah, he definitely seems like the kind of, like, B to C lister that would show up in the next one of these, which is just nothing but B to C listers.
Yeah.
But, so you got, okay, so I'm pretty sure the first level you actually fight is you save Catwoman from Harvey Dent. AKA Two-Face. Pretty fun. Nothing amazing. I want to say next is Penguin. You do him pretty early in the game, and he is at the Iceberg Lounge. He has a shark. You punch the shark in the nose. Very fun.
Which is
just
great,
like the shark repellent. Yeah, like a little fun little Batman shark gag. He also owns or like has in his basement Grundy. And that's the actual boss fight in the Penguin level, is just like beat up this big old guy.
Yeah.
It's a fun one. I like that a lot. And like, I never quite got Grundy as like an actual, like, as a part of the Batman mythology. I was like, what the hell is this guy? It's like, he doesn't, it's like crime boss and crime boss and crime boss and like zombie. Big hulky zombie. But in this like part, he fits pretty well. Then there's all the Joker Harley Quinn stuff. Then you fight Mr. Freeze. That's pretty memorable, right? Like people like that.
Yeah, that fight's nuts. It's a pretty technical fight, if I remember it correctly, because you have to use like a certain gadget to knock out his freeze, and it's that classic one where it's like, do the same thing 6 times and it gets progressively harder each time. It's
well,
like
even more than that, there's like, I want to say there's like maybe 8 ways you can get him, and you just have to like distract him so that you can punch him. And it's a stealth thing where you're like in a pretty small room, not like a small room, but like not a giant arena.
Right.
And you're sneaking around, and it's like, okay, you can do a takedown where you hit him with this smoke bomb, and then you go under here. Or you can go up onto the rafters and then dive bomb him. But whatever you do, he eliminates as an option next round. So he'll be like, yo, use the rafters, Batman. Not anymore.
That's
and then he'll use his ice gun to break all the rafters. So that was kind of fun.
Just break everything from the get-go. Like, come on, what are we doing?
why are the rafters at all? You guys know who Batman is, right? You've all been put in jail by him. You probably just assume. I mean, I guess you in here would be like, well, what's Batman gonna do? I'm not breaking any rules. I'm in this weird jail thing.
Yeah.
Like, as far as I know, this is fine. I don't know what everybody else, like, why. It's pretty bizarre, but, like, I'm Mr. Freeze. I get to put on my suit, have my gun, and I get to do stuff. Do, like, you know, experiments. And, Joker has kidnapped his wife. I think that's what it is. It's like his Nora is being held hostage by Joker, so that's why he was making Joker's serum.
Yeah.
We
Get him every time.
We went to you go to get the serum, but then what's like, because it's like, oh, it's in this locker, this nice, you know, impenetrable safe from one side, and he opens it up, and there's a big giant hole in the safe. The serum is gone. Do you remember what is left?
No. It's
It
like a
is
Jack in the
playing
Box
card.
Oh.
No, it's a playing card with it's a Joker playing card, and then a photocopy of that same Joker playing card, and it says like "See ya later, bats" or something, which is your first or second clue. That at the time I was like, "What the hell is this?" And then it's like, "No, you see, maybe something else." Yeah, you have a Mad Hatter mission. You have the Bane is around, but he's not a plot. He's just like, if you want to solve Bane-related mission, like, you know, if you want to help him get the Titan formula that's kind of on, like, shipping containers or something, you can, or something. I don't know.
Okay.
So then I feel like you kind of are like, okay, I'm nearing the end game here. I have to...
We're at the end game now.
Yeah, like, I think it's... And I even think, as far as you know... Obviously, Joker had the formula, so he, like, stole it or something. So it's like, we're good. But it turns out that... Oh, God, this is where it gets a little confusing. Ra's al Ghul is also here with Talia. And she stole it from him, I think?
Yes.
Because he doesn't have it at the very end of the game. I think she does.
And she has... Right. And because she wants Batman, to live, because that's her whole bag. Right, she's got one thing, and it's that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so Talia has it, and then Batman. She's like, I'll give it to you if you agree to like be with me and do the whole thing that I want you to do. Right.
Right. Something like that.
Goes. Yeah.
There is at one point she does have that ultimatum. I think she is like gonna kill the Joker at some point, and he's like, God, what was it? I don't know. Yeah, there's some ultimatum where it's like, if you do the thing that I want, or I'll do the thing that you want if you get married to me. And he's like, no, Talia. And it's like, all right, well, screw you, loser. But at one point you have to go into the basement of Arkham Asylum, and then you have to fight a bunch of ninjas. And this is where kind of the plot gets a little unwieldy for my taste, because then you get into the Hugo Strange part where he has been working with Ra's the whole time.
Yes.
And he's kind of an idiot. Like, he might be the dumbest character in this game, because Ra's is like, you see, my plan was to kill all the criminals. And he's like, wait a second, what? And,
yeah, that's what Protocol 10 is.
Yeah.
Protocol 10 is an idea to kill all the criminals in Arkham City. Which, like, that, as fucked up as that is, it makes the whole Arkham City thing make sense. Right?
Exactly.
Like, it's like,
mean,
that's why you did this. It's because you wanted to kill them all.
It's the only thing that, you would even... it still is the dumbest plot ever, but yeah, you're like, all right, I guess. If you wanted to kill them all...
Then this is what you would do.
Sure. Yeah. So I have the plot open right now, and I'm going to double, triple check what happens. So
Protocol 10's activated. I actually remember the Ra's al Ghul fight being kind of cool, because you're doing it in, like, a sand world.
Yeah, right.
Because Joker Joker gets the cure because Joker is better, right?
Yeah. You find Joker, and Joker is better.
Yep.
Or is he? There's a weird bit, and it's very confusing at the time.
There's a whole bit, yeah,
where Joker is like tightening his tie in a mirror, and you see the mirror version of Joker. And he's still all sick. But then regular Joker, like the actual in the room Joker, turns around and he's not.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is this all about?
And it's like, aha! And so he's better. So that's one part. So you fight Ra's al Ghul, and you beat him. But then Strange activates Protocol 11, which is blowing up the tower.
Yeah.
God.
And then I want to say Batman kills Ra's al Ghul.
He does
via like sword impalement.
Yeah, or he like lands
sweet.
on a gate iron or something like really dumb like that.
Yeah,
It's something insane, but it's impalement.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I figured it out. I figured it out. Okay. So Harley Quinn steals the antidote from Mr. Freeze.
Okay.
And then when we get back, next time we find Joker, Joker is fine. But Talia wants Talia offers Joker immortality. And that's what Joker's like, wait a second. What? Yeah. That sounds right? I think so.
Yeah, that is correct. Oh, this game is so confusing.
But then, so then Talia steals the cure from Harley Quinn. She has it.
Yep,
and
she's
then,
got the cure.
So then the whole end happens with the Wonder Tower, and like you're like, okay, the game is over, I think, because like Joker's better, and I beat him, but like I didn't, but whatever. And you fight like I guess you fight your way up to the tower, and I didn't love that mission, but whatever. And then you're at the end of the game, and Joker gets on TV or at least like the PA system. And it's like, also, I don't know if you remember, but there's a bunch more game with me in it, so let's go do a boss fight. And you have to go, and Joker and I guess Harley have kidnapped Talia.
Yes,
and then the twist happened, the actual twist. So
yes.
If you don't want this spoiled, then I guess don't. But you're here.
It's
and
pretty
you probably
bonkers.
already have a sense for
when
what's
it happens.
going on,
You're
but,
like, what the fuck?
And there's no there's a lot of explanation. There's a lot of hints to what's going on, but specifically the how it's going on, I don't think is ever mentioned. Specifically, like the character, I don't think gets name checked at all. So if you're not a Batman fan, this is very confusing. But but yeah, would you like to explain it and kind of how that plays out?
So, and this is what you're talking about, right? Like the not dead Joker, or like sorry, the cured Joker, right? It turns out that he's Clayface.
That's right. Yeah. There's like a bit where Talia stabs him, kills that Joker, and then it's revealed that she has the cure or something, and then that Joker gets up, and then real Joker, still sick, walks out, and he's like, "You fell for the double Joker gag, Batman, the oldest trick in the book," which, like, I don't know what that means.
If you say so.
Is that a card thing? Yeah. And then that's why they get the photocopy of the card. And that's why he looked in the mirror, because it was actually the same guy. And also, at one point, if you use Detective Vision when you're fighting him, he has no bones, which I guess if I were doing that in the game, I'd probably just assume was some sort of mistake. You know, like I'd be like, right. I guess they forgot to give this one bones because he's the boss, so the bosses don't have him. And then it turns out Clayface wasn't even in jail, and Batman was like, or Joker was like, "Hey, do you want to be me?" And Clayface is like, "Yeah, that'll be interesting." So he's just been kind of playing along. Batman kills Clayface. Clayface Joker kills Talia. Right? I think I said that already. Or no, I haven't yet. Batman kills Clayface by like exploding him. Then there's a small fight over the cure between Batman and Joker. That's Batman obviously wins, but Joker like goes for a stab. Batman drops the cure, breaks it, and
oh no,
yeah. And there's a point where Batman's like, Joker's like, "Why would you give me the cure, Batman? I'm bad." And Batman's like, "You are bad," and God damn it, you're the worst guy ever. And then that's when Joker stabs him. But then Batman's like, "But if you had literally given me 1 second, I would have said, but I'm going to give you the cure." So. Dumbass, like you would have been fine. And there's a bit, I like that line. Batman's like, "You know what the funny part is? I would have saved you." And Joker's like, "That is funny." And then he dies. And Batman carries him out like some painting. I don't know. It's in the game at some point, but there's like a painting of some Renaissance guy holding some other Renaissance guy. And art nerds know what it is, and I'm an art nerd, and I don't know what it is. So
how could you?
Yeah, right.
Not how could you not like how? I don't know.
How dare me? Yeah.
How dare you? What a game!
It's a great game. It's 100% like a fun, good game. I think I do think it is weird how in the middle there's all that stuff with Strange that really doesn't matter. Like I think if you took that part out, it would be just as fun. And I don't know why they did put Strange in.
Yeah, like could you have done? Is there another villain that you could have used to like? Because Strange is just the puppet for Race. Is there not another like character you could have done to do that bait and switch? I guess I don't know.
But, like, I mean, like, I don't think you get anything out of the bait and switch. Like, I think if this
Just have
whole
Ray set up
world,
Arkham.
like, honestly, this is what I think happened. They were like, okay, here's what we want to do. I have this script for a game. Everyone's free. Joker's in the city. Joker needs Batman to get him a cure for his blood. It's got Two-Face and Solomon Grundy and Catwoman and Mr. Freeze and the Penguin and maybe the Mad Hatter. Who knows? Who cares? It's going to be a lot of fun. And they were like, well, what are you going to call it? And they're going to call it Gotham City. And I was like, well, people aren't going to get that it's part of the Arkham trilogy. I was like, yeah, but it can't take place in Arkham. It's an open world game. It's in the city. Well, what if we compromise and make the city Arkham City? Well, how would the Joker do that? Well, the Joker, I guess, couldn't do that. But what if Hugo Strange wanted to do that? Well, that doesn't make any sense. Why would Hugo Strange want to do that? Well, what if some other character was pulling the strings? But who on the planet is not already involved in this story I have and would even kind of want to do that? And Hugo Strange would listen to, because Hugo Strange knows Batman's identity. So who else knows that? Oh, I guess it must be Ra's al Ghul. I honestly think that's, but in the end, the guy was like, okay, fine, but we're still making my game about Joker, right? And they were like, yeah, this is all just window dressing for your Joker game. We just need a good reason to call it Arkham Blank. So is that fine? And he was like, I guess, yeah. As long as we're going to do the good one.
It's so great. Like, Joker dies at the end of this game, which is kind of nuts. And Batman, like, carries him out, and I think he, like, lays him down at Gordon's feet. And whatever, probably says nothing, or Gordon's like, what happened? And then
that's what it is, yeah. And he's like, shut up, you, I'm Batman. Yeah. I fucking killed him. Is that what you want to hear? No, that's not what happened. I've been at this for 40 years or whatever. He fell on something probably and broke his neck. He's already dying from something, so, like, he died. Yeah. Just like you expect.
And then a song plays. I can't remember do you remember what song it is? It's very weird. I think like even Mark Hamill as the Joker sings it.
Oh, it's Only You.
Oh,
he plays it. It's over the credits too. It's very fun.
It's so creepy. But
I love it.
Oh, can we talk about one of the worst parts of this game?
Yes, for sure.
Do you know what I'm about to say? That's like
if it's not the Riddler oh, I know what it is. Yeah, I forgot about this. Go for it.
So, at one point, you play as Catwoman. There's a couple times in the game you play as Catwoman. And you're just doing Catwoman things. And there's one point where, is it when, like, Bruce gets captured or something like that?
Well, so there's this big fight. Yeah, I think there's a bit where...
Or Batman gets captured, I should say.
I think Batman gets caught by the Joker, yeah. Or, like, beat up by the Joker big. Because he can't... Because
he's super sick.
League of Shadows. Yeah, where the fuck is it?
So...
But yes, yeah.
Yeah, so Catwoman and like she finds out that Batman gets captured, and then the game gives you a choice. Nando, you get to choose your own adventure.
Yep.
And what the game does is it says, all right, Kate, you could do two options. You could go save Batman, or you could fuck off. Like Catwoman would do. And if you opt to fuck off, the game goes, no.
Yeah.
It, like, turns you around and Catwoman goes, no, I can't. I have to save Batman for whatever fucking contrived reason I have to. And it's the most infuriating thing. Don't give me a false choice game. Like, this isn't a quiz where I can have a wrong answer. Like, what the fuck?
It is so weird because it almost kind of seems like in your head if you like, because you get to that choice, and I'm sure 95 to 98% of gamers all let Batman die because they were just curious, like, well, what happens if I don't save him? Like, are we gonna have a boss fight with Batman? Because that'll be fun. Or does this just become a Catwoman game now where I use what are all essentially the same Catwoman? Like, Batman and Catwoman's mechanics can kind of jive, but Catwoman now, that seems interesting too. And yeah, you like walk out of the building, and then the game, like a VCR, like rewinds, and you like walk backwards. It's so dumb.
And you say, I can't let that happen to him. Like, what?
Yeah. What am I, some sort of jerk? Some sort of jerky gamer who doesn't even care about Batman, you? No, I'm Catwoman, the good guy, who probably would do this in any other piece of Batman material or whatever. It's done. It's fine. This comes after a fight with the Joker that ends with like a building exploding or something, and Batman is trapped under the rubble. This is when Joker and Talia go give him immortality or something, and then they leave Batman to die in the rubble, and Catwoman finds him. So yeah, that is the worst part of this game for sure. It's like, that's bad. That's like very bad. And maybe one of the worst parts of any of these games, next to the text and all the bugs in Origins. And then I would say all of the strange stuff is, as like a red herring, is equally bad. Or not equally bad, but it's like a pretty ungood thing. And then I'd say everything else, from like character designs, the locations, the gameplay, is pretty good. Like, the story about the Joker, I love. I love that twist. I think it's really smart. And it plays out like a movie, right? Like, it's not just that Joker's like, there were two Jokers. Go back and play the game and figure out what that means. The Joker's like, oh, Batman, you fell for my trick. And then it cuts back to all the stuff you already did that you see from like a different perspective, and it's like, oh, there were two Jokers in that room. I didn't even notice. I thought that one was a dummy, but it really was him. Like, so there's enough of that that's just like, I just love how cinematic these games become after starting right about here.
Yeah.
And then that continues in Origins, and I think that's kind of, maybe it's in Night. I don't know. Like I said, didn't play Night. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. Anything else about City?
No, that's it. It's like the best of these. It's so good. Like, I know we were talking about like, oh, none of this shit makes sense, but I can't overemphasize how fucking good this game is.
Yeah,
mostly
it's
just
awesome.
Mostly just because the combat got a lot more fluid. There's a lot more fun gadgets. And a lot of the side quests you could do are fun, because I think with a lot of other games, like the Spider-Man game for sure, like almost every side quest is like the same thing. It's like, go do Harry's fucking cloud research, or go collect some fucking backpacks, or
catch all the pigeons in Midtown.
God
go get
damn.
them, see if any of them are any good.
But this is like, Deadshot did a sniper thing. Go figure out what he's doing. Like, every side thing, like, it had a little standard collectibles and sandboxy tropes, like, whatever. But the side villain quests are so unique and allow you to do something, like, really different and fun.
Yeah, I agree.
It's so good. It's so good.
And there's enough, like, there's just enough, like, and it's not just, like, it seems like maybe they're just better at this because they're DC, and I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with Batman, but they just were able to, like, because obviously in the Spider-Man games, all of these side quests should be some guy. Like, it should be some villain that is a really, really minor Spider-Man villain, but they did use a lot of them. But it should be like, you know, Carnage is doing this, so go catch all the Carnage goons. But they do all seem super repetitive. But they really, like, they loaded this game up with villains, because there's probably a couple I've already forgotten. I want to see if I can find, like, a list of characters. Okay, so you got, these are all the villains. Hugo Strange, Two-Face Penguin, Talia, Mr. Freeze, Calendar Man, Solomon Grundy, Clayface, the Assassins guys, Ra's al Ghul, Mad Hatter, Deadshot, Hush is in there.
Hush.
As part of a side mission. Azrael does also show up here as a side mission. I think he's a bigger part of Night or Origins. Well, not Origins for sure, but one of them. Black Mask does a little bit of speaking. Killer Croc, I guess, is here somewhere. But yeah, they just like did a good job of like integrating all of these characters. But here we've come up against a problem, DJ, because we want to make more of these games. It's me, Rocksteady executive. I don't want to stop making these games because this one made a lot of money. However, I've used all of the good Batman villains. So what could I do? What are my options?
I could make up a contrived one. Is Arkham Knight in any of the comics, or did they make that up?
Well, before that, there's one more step where it's like, what if we make a prequel game?
Well, Rocksteady didn't do Origins.
Well, Rocksteady, like, Montreal did. Like, they made it, but they, like, sold it. They farmed it out to a smaller version of them or something like that.
Sure.
So I just mean more from the licensing perspective. It's like, obviously we're done with this Batman story. What else is there?
We have to do his origin. That's the next step.
Yeah. So, but the weird part in my mind, and this kind of makes sense, this kind of makes sense because of what it turns out to be happening, but it's like, well, we're going to do an Origins game, but we're also not going to reuse any of the villains from the last game. We're going to pretty much go through the Batman Wikipedia page, figure out what villains haven't been in one of these yet, and use all of them. But it's also an origin, so it's not like it's like Batman versus, Two-Face, and it's the origin of them. It's Batman versus Black Mask, and it's like, that's a little weird. I wonder why are we even bothering with origin here? And there's a reason, and it's great. But you've not played this game, DJ, right? This is the one you skipped?
Correct.
So, okay, here's the plot. it's Christmas. Already great. It's a fun, it's like winter and stuff, and a lot of the cutscenes have like Christmas music in them, and I think it really works. It's Christmas. Black Mask, Roman Sionis, is tired of Batman's shit. And this is like year one Batman. So he hires 8 assassins. He gets 8 guys. He's like $1 million, or probably more, because $1 million isn't, I don't think that's worth Deadshot's time. But like $1 million, $10 million, $20 million, however much you want. All of you guys kill Batman. Whoever kills him gets $1 million. So the team of assassins are Deadshot, Deathstroke. My 2 least favorite characters be in a room together because their names are the same. Oh shoot, what is her name? So Copperhead, a girl version of Copperhead. This one who does poisons, whose name I can't remember. Bane, Electrocutioner, Firefly, and someone. No, I think that's it. Deadshot, Deathstroke, 2 girls, Bane, Firefly. Yeah, no, that's only 6. Electrocutioner. I'm trying to like go through the levels. There's another one that I'm forgetting, but there's 8 of them. Whatever. There's probably one who's like the first level, and he doesn't matter. And so you go through the beginning of this game, and you fight a couple of them. You fight. I believe that the tutorial is Deadshot. There's a really good fight with Deathstroke, which is without a doubt the hardest fight in any of these games, which is like hey, if you beat this, come over to my house and beat it for me, because it's impossible. That comes at the end of a fight with Electrocutioner. That's the best fight in this game. Have you ever heard about this fight?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's so good. So Electrocutioner is like the least consequential villain that ever made it into one of these games. He's just some guy who is electricity themed. In the comics or in the game, he's kind of like the Shocker. He's got like the ones from the movie where he's got like these gauntlets that could punch, but they also will like electrocute you. So you have all these 8 guys. You're kind of going through them one by one, like, I'll find them, and then that'll be helpful for me, and they won't be able to get me. So he goes and gets the Electrocutioner, or Electrocutioner finds him, who cares? And he's in this arena full of, like, I guess Electrocutioner's friends, or just Gothamites who are, like, bored, and the Electrocutioner comes up, he's like, Batman, I hate you so much, I'm gonna get $20 million, it's gonna be so sweet, I got all the powers of Electrocutioner, you can't stop me. And then you kick him in the face, and he dies. It's over for Electrocutioner. It's one of those like one-shot fake out boss fights, and it's so great in the moment. And he doesn't die because he continues, but the fight is over. And then I think Deathstroke shows up, and you actually have a really hard boss fight that you are not mentally prepared for anymore. But yeah, it's really, really good. So you're also this whole time solving a murder. You're like, someone was killed. Black Mask killed somebody or something. Black Mask was involved in some sort of weird murdery thing. I got to get to the bottom of this. So you're going through these thugs, and you get a couple of them. Like I said, Deathstroke, I want to say Deathstroke, Electrocutioner, and Deadshot you all get pretty quickly. Although I think Deadshot gets away. And then you try to track down Black Mask, and you do, and it turns out Black Mask has kidnapped Roman Sionis. And you're like, wait, that's Black Mask. And then Black Mask takes off his mask to reveal that he is the Joker. So this is the first Joker story in this Batman movie. And
whoa! What are you saying?
It's such a fun reveal. And like I said, it's pretty early in the movie, so it's not, or in the game, so it's not super it shouldn't blow your mind, because he's cast in this, and it's a Batman game, so he's there. But it doesn't change the course of the game all that dramatically, but it leads to some really this one specific one really fun fight scene, or not fight scene. What's the word I'm looking for? Cut scene where Joker is as Black Mask, getting mad at all of the remaining assassins because they're coming in far below Batman death projected numbers for this quarter, and it's really good. And this isn't regular Mark Hamill. This is Troy Baker, who took over because Mark Hamill hates Canada and would never work with a Canadian game studio.
That's fair.
Or some other thing. Who knows? Probably that.
Who can blame him?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, all the bugs. He must have seen an early version of the game and gone, well, if you're going to fly into this and then this happens, I'm not being part of this inferior product. And then you fight Bane, and Bane's also really good in this game. There's the Firefly thing is fun, but it's a little weird. And then the other two who I mentioned like briefly, those are optional, so they don't really matter. You might actually have to fight Copperhead, but I know the poison one you don't have to fight if you don't want to. But then the game kind of becomes about the Joker, and he like falls in love with you. It's pretty funny. You play a lot of it from his perspective from that point. So like he saves Batman. Batman fights Bane. Bane loses. Bane escapes, blows up the building they're in. Also, Joker has like explosions rigged. Like I'm saying, it's all it does. Joker falls out of the building. Batman catches him, and Joker's like, "That's weird. I'm bad. Why would he catch me?" And he goes to Arkham, where he meets Harley Quinn. Accidentally tricks her into falling in love with him because it's really funny. There's the whole thing where she's like, "Hey, what's going through your brain right now?" And he's like, "I just met somebody, and this person is so interesting and cool, and I can't get this person out of my head." And
no
she's
way.
like, "Wait a second. This is what is this person like?" And whatever he says also applies to her, but it's really Batman. And then I forget how the rest of this game goes, but all that stuff is great. I think that's more or less the end of it. But there's like a fight scene where you're Joker and you're fighting like your memories of Batman. You go into like an Ace Chemicals in your head and go do all the Red Hood stuff back when he was like before he turned into the Joker. So it's not a Joker origin where it's like, what does the Joker, what was the Joker's job and like what's his first name? But
Did he
it's
like
the Joker
to dance?
origin that I think you could use in a in like a movie and get away with is like, why does the Joker feel the way he does about Batman specifically? So yeah, I think this is my favorite story. It plays out just like a movie, and it's super fun. Riddler's not in it. It's a guy called Anarchy who's hiding like Anarchy trophies around, and they're stupid, and I hate him. This would have been a great time for Riddler to shine, but whatever. These all have to be about the Joker. But and I like Black Mask a lot as a character, but I don't really mind the bait and switch because you get enough of him in there. It's fine. Who were the other assassins? I gotta look this up. But while I'm doing that, DJ, we got one more left.
The worst one.
The worst one. Do you remember? So while we started this, I put out a poll, just a real quick Twitter poll, which is like, what's your favorite Arkham game? As of now, we've got 500 votes, right on the money. So 21% Asylum, 48% City, 10% Origins, 21% Night. So it's like tied with Asylum and more than Origins right now, which I think is very strange.
Very Hugo Strange.
Yeah. It's got so this is Arkham Knight. This was I remember the trailer for this, and it was like they were selling you an actual Batmobile. It's the sexiest, most physical Batmobile sliding around, and
well, yeah. I remember the trailer at E3 when they the gameplay went with the Batmobile, and everyone's like, that was their whole thing, like, the Batmobiles will never be the same, and everyone's like,
yeah.
Oh my god! And then you get to the game, and you're like, shit, in a Batman game, I don't want to be in the Batmobile. Like, I don't want to have to do tank wars against, if we're going to talk about implausible whatever, and I know they explain it... excuse me. I know they explain it in the game on like how the Arkham Knight has like a full army with tanks and shit. Because like
it's the stupidest
I don't remember
thing.
I don't remember what the explanation was. It's like he had all African diamond blood money, so he has all the
think
tanks.
That's right. He's like a famous like criminal mastermind from like South America or something like that, who's like done terrorism all over the world and like just gotten all the money on Earth, pretty much.
Yeah, so, and basically every fucking goon has a tank, so there's a point where you're just playing tank wars that's like, this isn't fun. Because the whole thing is like, we have to make another sandbox, and at least it's in Gotham City, but there's like a terrorist running around called the Arkham Knight. Why is he called the Arkham Knight? Shut up, that's why.
Well, I mean, the answer is so clear. Again, this person came and he went, hey, I really want to make a Red Hood game. You can't. Why not? Well, where do you want to set it? Well, it's going to be set in Gotham City. Like I told you 3 times already, these games all have to start with the word Arkham. Well, he's not in Arkham. The game can't be, well, what if you call him Arkham Knight? Well, that's stupid. But then we'll also get to do this dumb bullshit where we tease it to the player. Who is the Arkham Knight? Who is this young person who knows Batman's history and is Batman's equal in every way and like is tortured psychologically? And every single fan was like, well, I think I know. And they're like, it's definitely not that guy. It's a different guy, brand new character, you guys. So you think you're all clever, but it's not him. And
As it turns out, it was.
That's the thing about it I hate. I'm okay with like a Marvel thing where they have a misleading trailer where they like don't show you all the Infinity Stones in Thanos' gauntlet so you get a sense for it, but you don't know what's going on. But when you tease something like this and you just lie, it comes off as really what's the word? Like it feels like you're cheated, kind of.
Yeah, right.
Like, well, I wonder what this story is going to be if it's not under the red hood. Like, what's left? And the answer is, well, it is, though. Also, real quick, I Googled it. So here are the eight killers. I got all of them except for one.
Okay.
Bane, Deadshot, Deathstroke, like I said, Copperhead, Firefly, Electrocutioner, Shiva, who's the poison one, and then, and I forgot about this, the first level of the game, this is the tutorial, is Killer Croc. And it's just like an earlier Killer Croc fight, which is fine. It's not super, like there's a couple of these things where you're like, I kind of remembered this, but I don't remember which game that was in. And like, that's one of this fight with Killer Croc. But anyway, so yeah, there's the Arkham Knight. He's the main villain, really. I mean, the game's about Scarecrow, right? He's like the main character.
Yeah, which is good. Like, Scarecrow is your main bad is, like, really good. It's probably what you're saying. It's like, oh, I got this story. Well, the Joker's gone, but Scarecrow's going to be the guy, and I got a great story. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay, but we need this Arkham Knight character to like, really shine.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
And you know what, to be fair, but the other games have been kind of light on Robins. Every so often you would bump into a Robin, not to spoil the thing that the game spoils by being itself. You bump into a Robin and it's Tim Drake usually, but sometimes Nightwing's in it. And they would sell like expansions and like DLCs where it was like, oh, you play as Nightwing or you play as Batman and Nightwing and you do a mission together, and that was fun. I think one of the other DLCs, I think Origins had a really fun DLC where you played as Bruce Wayne trying to fight a Mr. Freeze at like peak Mr. Freeze. But I'm not positive about that one. But yeah, so like you kind of sometimes got introduced to the Batman supporting cast, but they were never like the Bat family, but they were never a big part of the games.
Isn't Oracle in one of them as like the...
Yeah, she's in Arkham City, and I think she dies in one of these. No, she's in this one. I forgot about this. So, well, spoiler alert. We'll start spoiling the game from here on out. Do you remember this? They do a fake-out death with her.
I don't remember this.
Oh, this made me real mad. So if you can't tell, I am like enjoy a good twist, but I hate a fake out death where it's like you thought this guy was dead, but actually the movie lied to you. Unless it's done really well, but in this. And in this is another thing where it's like you've played 4 of these games by now, you know what's going on. Someone, I think it's Scarecrow, beats you up. This happens probably about halfway through the game, to drive you to madness. Beats you up, and you're like behind a glass door or on TV, but it's happening in front of you in real life, so it must be behind like an impenetrable glass wall. And Scarecrow kills Barbara Gordon. And he's like, and Batman goes insane, and he tells Commissioner Gordon. Commissioner Gordon goes insane, and it turns out that was a fear gas hallucination. I'm 90% sure.
Oh, yeah.
And I've never played this game, but I watched most of it because I couldn't be bothered. I'm pretty sure that's how that goes.
That sounds right, because it's stupid and I hate it.
Yeah. And like, listen, if you want to do that, you can. Like, it's not a bad twist necessarily, but a lot of the twists in this game are quite like they're easy to telegraph, so that's not great. But yeah, what else starts happening in this game? So yeah, Scarecrow.
I so little remember the plot. So do you play as Robin a lot in this game? It's either this game or
never.
Arkham City. Oh, never?
I think maybe you team up once or twice, but it's almost exclusively Batman.
Okay, so in Arkham City, and I think they, like, at one point, Nightwing or Robin, like, locks you up in a little tube, and it's like, you have to stay here because you're dying or whatever. And you have to, like...
Oh, wait, shit, you're right, that's this one.
Oh, it is this one? Okay. Why does he have to get locked up? Because he's going crazy or something?
He's going crazy because of Joker poison.
Oh,
is it the last one? These blend together a lot. So
they really do.
He's having Joker hallucinations in this game.
Oh, right? That's right. That's right.
That's how Joker is part of it. But also... Yeah, there's a bit in one of them where he gets locked up, and I do think it's this one.
Yeah, there's a scene where you have to like beat up like a billion fake Jokers. Like you just go on a war path, just dusting fake Jokers like over and over and over again.
Yeah,
I remember that. It was like a whole thing.
So, and I want to say there's also a part of the game where, as the Joker, you have a hallucination where you have your own Batmobile and you kill a bunch of other villains or something.
That's right. Or Batman's, maybe? I forgot about that.
Okay, I have the plot in front of me.
Okay. There's a lot of weird shit in this game, and you're right, a lot of it blends together.
We're all going to have lots of fun. So,
oh, God.
Scarecrow forces the civilian evacuation of Gotham City after threatening to unleash his potent new fear toxin.
Ooh.
He, rescues Poison Ivy, and, like, everybody's part of the plot and whatever, and he goes and stops the thing. But the infected blood, so like that part of it is important, but not that important. The infected and Scarecrow captures Oracle. The infected blood from the last game. 5 people got blood transfusions with it, and they all get turned into another Joker. Do you remember this?
Yeah. Oh my God, I forgot about this shit.
This game was so weird.
Ooh.
So there's 5 guys that just believe they are the Joker, kind of.
Yep.
And it's like a stock trader or whatever, and some other guy, and they all are in like a museum or something, and they all have their little mini boss level, and then one of them is Joker. So that's, or one of them is Batman, duh. And Batman's like, when am I going to turn into the Joker? Am I going to be just like him? That's not great.
Oh, yeah, because did Batman get cured from Arkham City?
Yes, he did. He got, because he drinks the cure right before Joker knocks it out of his hand.
Oh, got it, okay.
Yeah. Oh, man, this is even worse. God damn. Okay, so Batman, okay. So, after all of this Batman stuff, there's some bits where Oracle was stolen by Scarecrow. After some of this Joker stuff, but not all, Batman gets fear toxined, and Joker takes over his body. This is like, when did this turn into a soap opera? Maybe Batman's always been a soap opera. This is extra soap opera-y. So then, Batman goes to Scarecrow's hideout. Oracle is given fear toxin, and she kills herself. And Batman sees this, and he's like, oh my God, this is terrible. There's no way I'm hallucinating this. That's not what this villain does. That's a different guy. And then Harley Quinn is trying to find these extra Jokers. Do you remember that?
Oh,
she's like a good guy now.
Oh,
yeah.
this game.
This
game.
So yeah, Robin tries to kidnap, and Robin's like real mad at Batman because Tim Drake is dating Barbara Gordon. Robin tries to catch Batman, but Batman doesn't let him, and he's like, I'm gonna win the day, and maybe I'll turn into Joker and be even worse. Who knows? So the Arkham Knight has been like in the game, but not that much. Like, he's there, but it's not about him. It's clearly about Scarecrow and all this Joker business. But when you do Scarecrow, or when you do, like, either Scarecrow gas or Joker brain, you do, like, hallucinations of a really bad thing that happens. Not, like, anything really important to know for the plot. Just, like, some random thing. And do you remember what all of Batman's bad hallucination, like, memories are?
No.
It's the death of Jason Todd.
Oh.
So that's how the game explains that to you. Is like he just keeps having these flashbacks of like Jason Todd, for no reason whatsoever. And then Batman and Poison Ivy stop the fear gas thing, and she dies or whatever. But then Batman goes after the Arkham Knight, who has, and this, oh man, I remember we were talking about like bad things in the game. Maybe my least favorite level ever in the game. Arkham Knight, besides having the incredible resources necessary to have 1 billion tanks that are all like remote controlled, by the way, no one's driving them because Batman can blow them all up. And he pretty much every time he kills one, he's like, good, I got another unmanned drone. But you go down to catch the Arkham Knight, and do you remember what he's driving, like, in the worst level of the game, maybe?
Is it his own, like, Batmobile, or?
No, it's so much worse. This game, like, kind of takes a shot at the level, like, kind of recreating the, what is it? Who's the guy? The Killer Croc level, where it's like you're underground and, like, something's coming, and the Arkham Knight has a giant drill that he drives like a car, and you're like running away from his big stupid drill. Oh man, I did not like that bit. Yeah, there's like a drill, and I don't remember why, but then that whole thing ends, and you fight the Arkham Knight, this brand new character created for the game based on no other characters. And wouldn't you know it, it's actually that guy from that flashback 5 minutes ago that up until now didn't exist, Jason Todd.
What?
I know.
What?
So
that
it
can't
turns
be possible.
out, no. He was seemingly murdered by the Joker, but he was actually tortured.
No.
Yes. They stole this from the classic Batman movie, Batman, Return of the Joker, Batman Beyond, essentially. And then he. Then that's it, and Jason Todd's like mad at Batman because Batman abandoned him, and that's kind of it. Yeah. And there is God, talk about, like, as all the false origins has, because it is buggier than the rest of them by a mile. The tank fight I don't like, or not the tank, well, the tank fights I don't like. The drill level I think is really just like kind of ludicrous. It's followed by the fight with the Arkham Knight, where he has like a pair of pistols that like can transform into one big sniper rifle. That's kind of like his deal. And the Arkham Knight, for people that don't know, looks just like Batman, except he's got like spray paint on. But it's like he's also got like a red mask on kind of underneath, and at certain points you punch the mask that has the bat ears and that falls off, and it's just red-faced guy for a second, so it can be kind of like what the version of Jason Todd who becomes a bad guy but also more of an anti-hero is in the comics, called the Red Hood. So there's a fight where it's pretty hard, where you shoot and like you fight the Arkham Knight and he shoots you, but then every so often it turns into a sniper evasion level, and the timing on it's really tricky, which means you get to hear all of his like 3 voice lines on a loop for like 2 minutes, and they're all like really whiny. They're all like, "Oh, Batman, I hate you," and you just it's over and over and over and over and over again, and it's just like the Jason in whatchamacallit in
Heavy Rain.
Heavy Rain. Yeah, it's like a little less. Like, it's a bigger deal because it keeps screaming it, but it just makes me like, I never really liked this character because he was clearly Jason Todd, and I don't really like Jason Todd, and also I didn't like, I in the image of this character, I just see the game developers lying to me. But then that really put me over the edge. Was like, well, I'm sick of this guy. I hope Batman does finally kill one of his villains, and he's like, God damn it,
terrible.
I wanted the Joker to kill you, and he didn't finish the job. But yeah, so then that's kind of it. Turns out the Joker guy, or the Oracle, was actually alive, and it was just the fear toxin, because of course it was. Which they also kind of lifted directly from an episode of the animated series. Do you remember that episode where so Scarecrow and Batman are fighting on not even a rooftop. I want to say they're fighting on window washing, whatever the swings that like window washers use on buildings. And Scarecrow does a fear gas to Batman, whatever, not a big deal. Then Scarecrow fights, and then Batman's like kind of KO'd for that fight. Barbara Gordon goes, Scarecrow kills her, and then that drives Commissioner Gordon nuts, and he goes to get Batman, and like Alfred dies, and Nightwing dies, and it's the worst. And it turns out this is all a fear gas hallucination. She's not actually dead. Yeah, so it's very similar. And I think if you know that episode, you're kind of like picking up on that. You're like, oh, wow, she's dead. This is a lot like that other. Oh, I see. Like, that's what this is. But yeah, so that's kind of it. It's, it's fine. Batman gets a secret identity, too. Scarecrow tells everybody because he knows. Yep. And in the end of the game, I think Batman dies.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I think so.
No, because I thought I read this somewhere they were going to make a sequel. They never did, but they were going to. Okay,
so here we go. Okay, this is the last paragraph of the Wikipedia page. Or let's do the last 2. Batman surrenders to Scarecrow to save Robin and Barbara is taken to the ruins of Arkham Asylum. Scarecrow reveals Batman's identity, Bruce Wayne, to the world on television before injecting Batman with the fear toxin to break him down before the public. Batman and the Joker then battle for control inside of Batman's mind because these games are all about the Joker anyway. Joker attempts to weaken Batman by recounting the people who have suffered and died because of Batman's crusade, but Batman triumphs and locks the pleading Joker away in his mind, forever to be forgotten, the Joker's only fear. This is like Yu-Gi-Oh! At this point. Like,
yeah, it really is.
And the Millennium Key's thrown into the woods. Todd arrives, saves Batman, who subdues Scarecrow with his own fear toxin. After Batman ensures that Gotham is safe, Gordon dispatches the police to reclaim the streets. Batman activates the Nightfall Protocol to protect his loved ones. So Batman returns to Wayne Manor, where he is greeted by Alfred. As the pair enter the manor, it explodes, seemingly killing them both. Sometime later, Gordon, now Gotham's mayor, prepares to attend Oracle and Robin's wedding. Elsewhere, two criminals attack a family in an alley, but are confronted by a nightmarish silhouette resembling Batman. So it's not clear if that is... Probably not Robin. If it's Arkham Knight, Jason Todd, or Azrael, who I think is part of this.
Oh,
as well.
Yeah, he's in this game.
There's a couple of like other randos. You got Firefly's back, baby. Man-Bat has a whole level in this. Deathstroke is back. Professor Pig, serial killer Professor Pig. Deacon Blackfire. Hush again. Like there's a lot of just dudes in this. And then there's all kinds of DLC with like Black Hat or Mad Hatter and Black Mask and Mr. Freeze, and it seems actually like a fun bunch of DLC. But what was I saying? Whatever I was saying, it was brilliant.
Sorry about not new Batman, but like
as Azrael,
whoever,
right? Yeah,
yeah.
I don't remember because let me Google. I forget if he is a big part. Yeah, he is. So there's like a whole bit where you have to like beat Azrael in fights to prove to him that he's any good or something. And all he says throughout all the fights are like, "I'll be the next Batman if you ever die, and if you did, I would appear as a nightmarish figure to two people robbing a thing in an alley." So it seems pretty much like that it's him, but it's made unclear. But he is. I find Azrael very annoying, so I hope that's not what it was. I hope that Batman survived the explosion for no good reason. And that's it. That's the whole thing.
Woo,
it's not bad. Also, apparently, there's a whole bit where Penguin and Riddler are fighting, but that's in the very beginning. And
right. I forgot about that shit.
That's in the trailer a lot. I feel like the trailer is like that, and then a little bit of Scarecrow, and then the car, and then Arkham Knight at the end, and it's like, how do all these things piece together? And the answer is barely. Every one of them has a thing to very like awkwardly connect them to the other thing. So like, how's the car in Arkham Knight related? Well, Arkham Knight's gonna have a whole army of cars. And how is Scarecrow related to the Arkham Knight? Well, Scarecrow and Arkham Knight are just kind of there at the same time. And how's Batman related to the Arkham Knight? Ooh, you'd never believe it, comic fan. This is actually this jolted. It's just so, it was so obvious the whole time, and they lied to us.
They really did.
It bugs
Jerks.
me.
Yeah, no,
I think I'd be okay. Like, nobody... It's not like when... Because they're the same story, but it's not like when Marvel made the Winter Soldier. They had a big ad campaign like, who is the Winter Soldier? You'll never believe it. And then all the fans were like, it's Bucky. We read the comic books. It's clearly that. And they were like, no, it's not. It's a new guy. You feel so cheated when it turns out to be Bucky. And yeah, once you're playing this game for like 20 minutes, a half hour, right after you start meeting the Arkham Knight and you kind of get a sense for what he's like, you're like, oh yeah, this is definitely Jason Todd. Yeah, I mean, it's still a pretty good game. Like, it just...
I think it's not very good. I mean, not very good. I'm sorry. I think it's, pretty good. It's for sure.
It's not as tight as Arkham Asylum. It's not as, like, fun and expansive as Arkham City. And it's not as, like, interesting of a story as Arkham Origins. It's like right in the middle of all of those. It's a not even number 2 behind all of them, but it's just like, if it was the first game, it'd blow everybody's minds. But also maybe they would never make, like, maybe they'd be like, well, actually, we should probably just set this in a jail and maybe make Joker the villain. And then they'd make Arkham Asylum. Because there's no more of these, right? There've always been like rumors that they're going to make a new one, but I don't think there's anything in development.
So there was a rumor on the internet. Someone posted on maybe Reddit that there was concept art for an Arkham Knight sequel, but that could just be some guy lying, probably. But I don't know what this is leading to. But Rocksteady tweeted on the 5th of September, so only 5 days ago, as of this recording, that they are hiring. So they got to be working on something.
They're hiring Mark Hamill? Because that's a dead giveaway that it's a Batman game. There was a while where it really seemed like they were making a Superman game, but then that kind of
I know.
went away.
I can't imagine how they do that. I think it would just be terrible.
I know. I played the Superman Returns game, and I feel like that's not an amazing game, but I feel like that's as good as you can do. Like, the combat's, it's such a limited character when it comes to video games that, like, it's just going to be, it is what it's going to be.
Yeah. By the way, if you all want to experience any of these games, Batman Arkham Knight, or I should, that game specifically, is going to be the PS Plus free game in September, or is the PS Plus free game in September. So if you have PS Plus, you can play it for free. So decide for yourself. It's worth a play.
There's the Arkham Collection, which is, I'm looking at this now on PlayStation, so you probably get it other places, but it's $60. It's the three, but it's all of them minus Origins. And if it comes with all the DLC, which I can't decide, I can't figure out if it does, then that's pretty good.
It comes with the Earth 2 Dark Knight skin. So it's available in January 2020.
Oh, so it's not even out yet. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Batman Arkham Collection.
Wait. Oh. Interesting. So you can get it. Okay, so according to the Rocksteady developers, the collection is coming to Europe in September and next year for everywhere else.
Got it. Okay.
Everywhere else. Oh, okay. Even more interesting. Everywhere else as a free download for everyone who owns Arkham Knight.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I lied. You could get this game right now on PS4.
I had a feeling. I didn't see why they wouldn't sell it, because it's just the three games.
But if you have Arkham Knight, you can download all of them? That's interesting.
In next year, it seems like, yeah.
Okay.
Which is cool. I would say, I'm sure you can find some of them pretty cheap. I bet you can get Arkham Origins for
it's only the three of them. It does not include Origins.
But yeah, Arkham Origins is my favorite game. Again, you can have a lot of fun just watching the quick time events of these and watching stuff like that. Oh, nice. If you go on Walmart.com right now, you can get Arkham Origins on Xbox 360 for $176. I don't know why Walmart prices it like that, because on Amazon you can get it for less money, like $18. But
maybe they're some really good copies
from Walmart. Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, I like that game a lot.
Some good games.
Yeah, they're all pretty solid. The bad ones are still pretty good, and I think they should keep making them forever and ever, or maybe not. What other character would you like a game like, say, DC Universe? Because they do in Night, I think, tease a Superman game. You could go into your office and there's a call waiting from Lex Luthor. And he's like,
okay.
Hey, Batman, I hate you. I'm bad. Superman is another guy I know. See if that goes anywhere.
It's hard. It has to be someone who isn't so broken. So, a Spider-Man or a Batman are, really in that realm. God, what DC?
Yeah, I don't think a Flash would work. I don't think a Wonder Woman would
Green
be
Lantern
that much
doesn't
fun.
work. I don't think Superman works.
You could do, Green Arrow, but that's not that interesting.
Maybe, a Superboy? Maybe that?
Maybe. You could do, who you could do? Here's a couple.
Black Canary, maybe?
I was going to say, you could do a Black Canary, Green Arrow team up. That might be worth it. A 2-player couch co-op kind of thing.
Ooh.
You could do Aquaman, but actually, don't do that. You could do Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, another fun little team up. Or you could do Constantine and just make it go through all the horror stuff and fight all the horror villains. There's a lot of that. And he's got spells, so that could be fun. But I do think Batman, especially in DC Comics, is kind of on his own. I think you could remake this game with Daredevil and make a good game.
Daredevil game
the superpowers are largely the same. You could just swap out all his villains for your villains, do the Deadshot level, but make it Bullseye. It's not that hard. But yeah, I don't think the DC universe has too many others that I'd be really hype on them making. But it should be what's his name? Make me a Booster Gold Blue Beetle team up game.
Yeah.
So last thing, the whole reason we're here. Let's talk about the Joker. So, somebody named Travis. So somebody named Travis emailed us a while ago, like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, giving us a suggestion for a new way to rate Jokers. And we kind of got it last week, but I didn't have the email. So I wanted to, A, thank Travis, but B, kind of read up what he was saying, because then we mentioned it last week, and I was like, send it again if you can. And he did. So here we go. Hey guys, love the show. Listen to the Joker marathon leading up to the new film. Had a suggestion for when you rank the Joker of each piece that you examine. Because the character has so many different interpretations, I don't think a single axis of 1 to 10 can suffice. Instead, I propose you 3 separate rankings. 1 to 10 for clownishness, 1 to 10 for psychotic killer, and 1 to 10 on laugh. I personally feel like this is the best way to truly capture the qualities of any particular Joker, since some fall more on the clown side without much psycho, like from Arrow. Some fall more on the killer side without much clown, like Leto, and the best do both, like Hamill. And then, of course, there's the laugh, which may itself be more clownish or psychotic, but ideally should be a blend of both. Ledger/Phoenix. Keep up the cool show. And if you end up adopting this system, I will be tickled, but I'll enjoy the podcast either way, no doubt. It didn't say it, and there's other stuff where he said just like another email where he told us that again. But so
we did do this system last week.
We did, yeah. And I guess what we're going to do like now would retroactively also more or less apply to the Hamill from the first one of these we did, which was The Dark Knight.
Slightly. I think there's
Return
a little
of the Joker.
There's some little differences, right? This one's more raw.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Joker doesn't say like fuck, but like might as well. Like it's super brutal.
Oh, yeah. And he like characters in this, quite a few get like stabbed right through the chest with a giant sword. Like it's a very common occurrence. A lot of characters die, and I think that's kind of why, like, you know, a couple of the female characters have like the skimpy costumes, which is like, come on, why are you don't need to do this? And I get that, but then also on the other side, it's like, but a more mature Batman game in terms of like that kind of thing, where like people are actually dying and stuff, is pretty cool, and you don't really get too much of that in obviously in the cartoons, and then not as much in, you know, some of the movies where it's just like brutal. So what would you say for 1 to 10 on clownishness for this Joker?
Clownishness, honestly, I think it's like a 3 yoho.
Really? I would give him far more yohos.
I don't think it's very clown. I don't think clownishness is the thing, though. Right?
I feel like he's got enough things. I feel like there's enough, and because this is a video game, like every time there's like some sort of big Joker fight scene, not as much really in Origins or Night, obviously, but in Asylum, and then a lot in City, I feel like you're fighting in like a room that's been painted to look like a carnival or something.
What you're saying.
And there's like your goons are like all are dressed like clowns, which isn't that exciting. But like I feel like the atmosphere of he does a good job of the atmosphere of clownishness, and just I guess like clownishness for me with the Joker, especially with Hamill Joker, is all about like I guess this goes for most of them. Heath Ledger's the only one that really doesn't tick this box. And definitely Leto, but this like very performative kind of like not just just like overacting, which I think this Joker does plenty of, waving his hands around and like doing like accents and stuff, and
So
that's what I'd say by clownishness.
All right, I'll bump it up to like 6 yohos.
I mean, listen, take as many yohos as you want. I give this one an 8. I think this might be my favorite single interpretation of the Joker, so it's going to get a lot of yohos from me. About serial killeriness. Does kill a handful of people. 9
yohos. Like, he's really up there with it.
Yeah, he stabs Talia. In his brain, he kills a bunch of goons and Batmans and stuff. I'm trying to think of who else he like just in cold blood kills. I don't want to say like shoots Batman at one point, but it doesn't kill him because he like shoots him in the head.
This Joker's like the most unhinged of all the Jokers.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say of all. Well,
I think so. No, I think that's fair. The cutscene from Origins that's so fun, where he's giving his progress report to all the goons, and when he reveals to the goons that he is not Black Mask but the Joker, Electrocutioner is on his phone, and he because he's the worst. And he like pulls a gun on electrocutioner and he's like, "You're gonna give me your attention?" And he's like, "Good, because you suck." And then he like kicks him out of he's like on a rolling chair, so he kicks the rolling chair goes out a window. You're Batman and you're like watching this from below, and then you see on a bunch of like security cameras just this guy falling and hitting everything, and then he just lands like 10 feet from you. So like this Joker will execute anybody. I'm pretty sure he kills Black Mask. Does he kill anybody in an asylum? I mean, I'm sure he does, but I can't remember. But yeah, he's pretty psycho. I'll give him an 8. I don't think he's I have a feeling what's his name, Phoenix Joker's gonna be pretty like psychotic. But this one's like
full like 10 yo-hos.
Maybe this one's pretty brutal. And then you got Laugh, good Laugh.
Yeah, great Laugh. I think I gave him a full 10 on the Return of the Joker. So yeah, I got to stick with that.
Yeah, I'll agree. I would say he gets a 10. This is the best Joker ever. So at least definitely with the laugh. Like the other ones have good laughs, but this is a solid laugh.
It's the quintessential one, at least that I think most people think of, at least if you've done the animated series. It's just so much media. I think I mentioned this last time, but he's just had so many reps as the Joker, it's hard to just not go there immediately.
And so. Mark Hamill is just a good like voice actor, and this is like a skill that a voice actor would probably have a better, like more skill with than a stage and screen actor. So I think that probably helps.
Did you know that Did you know that Mark Hamill is the voice of the Fire Lord in the Avatar animated series?
I did not, but also I don't watch the animated series.
Any of them? Not even the Batman.
No. Yeah, I watched the Batman animated series, but I have not seen Avatar. Is that the sequel to Batman? The animated series?
Yeah, they take a different turn with it, but yeah, it's a little
the cinematic universe. It's like Batman, Superman, Avatar.
They go back in time.
Waiting for that damn crossover. Get it together, Nickelodeon. I think they own this, right?
Yes, they do. There you go.
They'll figure it out. No, I know everything except for what happens in Avatar. I'll never know it. But yeah, okay, it's cool. So thank you, Travis, for the Yoho Joker ranking system. That'll definitely be officially what it's called forever. All right, do you want to get to our classic segment, TJ?
I think it's that time.
I think you're right. What do you got for the fine people?
All right, so I know you recommended this in a different show, but I guess I wanted to, co-sign on it because I really, really enjoyed it. So the movie, Are You Ready? Ready or Not? Are you ready? Are you ready? Ready or Not, it is a it's listed as a horror movie in like the genre or whatever, but it's not really a horror movie. It's like a suspense thriller movie. It's interesting insofar as I definitely don't want to spoil it, because if you go see this movie, you want to go in knowing nothing. But I think in terms of recent movie, in terms of subverting my expectations, this movie did like the best job. A lot of this stuff, I'm like, wow, they did that, and in like a good way, not like, whoa, how did you take that risk? Blah 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 blah. Like, oh, you did a great job here, and you deserve a lot of accolades. So I would say the only thing is, because I went with Michelle, and don't go in maybe thinking it's like your traditional horror movie. It's way closer to a thriller than like your traditional horror movie. So that's probably the only thing I would say. But like, it's amazing.
It's pretty gory too. That's the only thing I like to preface it with. It's like you're gonna see some blood.
Like the first super gory thing that happens, it kind of catches you off guard. You're like, oh man, but it sets the tenor for the next like hour of action, because it's short too. It's only like 90 minutes, and it's like it's good. A nice quick in and out, and all the actors are good. I don't know if there's any named like guys in it.
Pretty much just Adam Brody, the brother.
Adam Brody, that's right. Yeah,
from like OC and stuff, and just like stuff. He shows up everywhere.
Yeah, but it's great. Definitely go see it while it's still in theaters. I was worried it was going to get shoved out by It, but the theater I go to had It and Ready or Not, so I was like, oh, sweet. So, yeah.
Nice.
Happy about that.
A couple people asked us, like, you should do It. And I'm like, nah. Besides the fact that I don't really have too much interest in that franchise in general, and not just liking horror movies, I hear this new one's not that great. So, and it's like 3 hours long, which is pretty much the death sentence for a movie for me, unless it is amazing and a thing that I already absolutely love. It's gonna be a lot of work to get me into a theater for 2 hours and 45 minutes or whatever the length of It 2 is.
Yeah, so
yeah.
That's all I got for this week. Go see Ready or Not if it's still in theaters by you. It's Nando wrecked it, so definitely. Now it's doubly wrecked. So yeah.
The classic double wreck.
Double
that
wreck.
Is impervious to criticism as far as I'm concerned. All I want to rec a show. I don't think I've wrecked this yet because I never really got it. I feel like it's found its footing recently. And it is, and maybe I have wrecked it. I honestly, I'm going back in my head. Patriot Act. Have we ever talked about this on the show?
It sounds familiar. Why can't I?
It's like Hassan Minhaj from The Daily Show, correspondent.
Yeah, I think
basically does like cool tech bro Jon Stewart. Yeah. So, or John Oliver. I would say there's either a new season came out or just like he has taken time and kind of reinvented the format of the show. And made it just like, it really is just like a 25-minute talk on something. And I don't know exactly what he changed or what is different about it, but I feel like they did an episode recently on cruise ships and why they are bad that I found fascinating. And in case you're wondering, everything about cruise ships is bad. It's just like, it does everything wrong. Not like bad, like in terms of like a big waste of your time, although I'm not a big cruise ship guy myself, but bad in a moral way. But yeah, I enjoyed Patriot Act a lot, and just getting back into it, like this new thing.
I'll have to watch that one because I'm pretty not anti cruise ship, but I'm not like the biggest fan. So I'd be curious to what his take on it is.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. There's a lot of like research and it's all that good stuff. But yeah, I never quite saw the show as like not like necessary, but it's like, all right, well, we got John Oliver. What's the point of this? And
right,
yeah, this kind of at least gave me, I don't know, I felt better about it. The other thing I can rec is that game we played with the coins. Sorry, I just tipped my thing, but whatever.
Skull?
That game, Skull, yeah, that was a fun game.
Oh, yeah, Skull's great. Love me some Skull.
You bet, you trick people, that's the whole thing. You can play it with probably cards at home.
Yeah, if you Google Skull and Roses, I think you could you get exactly what you need. I think Shut Up and Sit Down actually has a video. They do a video series called Card Games That Don't Suck, and yeah, it's called Skull and Roses. So yeah, it's a fun game. Check it out. Play with your friends.
But that's what I got. I like that. We played. I think I won. Did I win?
Alex won.
Oh, yeah.
He schooled us.
Do it. It's a great game. Yeah, so next week, what are we doing next week?
Oh, it's Suicide Squad, baby.
Woohoo! Yeah.
Fucking it's time.
Worst laugh. Worst everything.
Oh, baby. I'm gonna whatever with my... Oh, jeez. I'm not ready.
Yeah. I can't wait. We could everyone could do a great impression. They should have all of us pretend to be the back of his head in that movie, the Harley Quinn movie that he's not in because he doesn't do these anymore, but his character still would probably be there for a minute. I'm just really excited. It's going to be so great. So yeah, next week so watch that or just kind of remember how you felt when you saw it the first time.
Yeah,
I don't want to make you watch it again.
This is not required watching by any means.
But if you do want to kill some time, the one after that is whatchamacallit, is Lego Batman. So that's a decent jokering. Anything to plug, DJ?
Nah, I'm good.
I know this is like our longest podcast probably, but this is just because we talked about 4 video games. So.
Oh my God, yeah. Thank you for sticking with us. Something we only do one of these a week. So.
Yeah, exactly. I might have my Defenders video out before the next podcast, but maybe not. So who knows? It all depends on my free time. But yeah, besides that, Suicide Squad next week. Until then, I am at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Woohoo.
Woo.